change my deodorant or something.
Okay.
All right, and then, I'm streaming and such. It's August 11th, 2020, Tuesday. And I'm going to be on Chess TV perhaps. Well, perhaps not. From 9 to 11, which is in a little less than an hour. And so forth. From the name of the stream title, you can see what the stream is about. If you're going to talk a lot, I'll put that over here. What? All right. We'll talk loud because it's over there. My brother says hello. Hey, Mark. Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
All right. Yeah, I'll forward that while we're waiting for people to show up, if you can call them people. Let's see. You're Karen. Are you Karen Bass? And then this is the one I'm putting them in the wrong order. So you read them out of order. All right. Did you read them out of order? Go Karen. Yeah. We were having a lively discussion about Kamala Harris becoming president soon. I give Biden a couple of years. And then Kamala takes over, or Kamala, depending on whether you want a politician or the wrestler. Somebody on Twitch or Twitter pointed out, the Kamala died, then Kamala. Yeah, you never heard of the wrestler, I assume.
No.
Yeah, I used to watch wrestling then. That was before you were born. Yeah, he was like random guy in the U.S., like from the South, and they said he's from Africa, and
When did you? Well,
this was in the 80s. Yeah.
I actually went to some wrestling.
Yeah, he would have all this accoutrement, like the trash man, and he was like, didn't speak English because I'm from Africa. And
did you see any wrestling in person?
No.
Well, I got you.
No, horrible. No. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. Although I'm from Michigan, and when I lived in Michigan, that was the time of George the Animal Steele, and he was a wrestling coach at a high school in Michigan, and then he would go do his professional wrestling and go back to work. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Papa John's. Whitmer didn't make it. Yeah. That's correct. Well, I was rooting for Kamala because something. Her name rhymes with Holla. And, stuff like that. 85 beers are good. I agree. Yeah. So nobody that I follow is streaming. Nobody. Look at that. Nobody that I follow is streaming. 0 people. Yeah. I guess I don't follow the right people. They're too busy something. Discord. Yeah, also I always stream at the same time, and my stream schedule is on my stream here when I'm not streaming. So if you ever come to my stream and I'm not streaming, it tells you when I'm streaming. Also good. Yeah. Her name rhymes with Kalamala. But what if she was a bread? What kind of bread would she mean?
What?
Kala.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see. Her name rhymes with Kalamala. Let's see if you know that reference. I do not. Yeah. Although when you tell me, then I might know. Sand V subscribed. Good. Go Harris. I can't see, and I cleaned my glasses, and I just can't see. I think I see better with my glasses off. It's close. Okay, I can't see that at all. All right, well.
Yeah, I've got 4 people that I follow are streaming.
Was it what?
Yay,
I
Raj
saw
B.
you. Raj B subscribed. Streaking. Did you went to the lecture, right, Raj? Simpsons. Kalamala? I mean, if it's not the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons, if it's the last 20, then I'm not going to get it. Yeah. You suck. Wait, why do I suck? No, it got deleted. Now I don't know why I suck.
Something about because you don't like that Hikaru is educating. That's as far as I got before it was
Oh, yeah, Raj, don't delete it too quickly. I wanted to see why I suck. Damn.
You can always review their messages.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I can't do that.
Mod view. It's
Yeah, I can't do that. It was the first 10 seasons, and I don't know it. Kalamala?
Hey, CJ.
Yeah, I don't remember it. It's over 20 years ago, but I should remember it. You're right. Something Hikaru is high on the gas from his car, and Lisa turns into a camel. That sounds very vaguely familiar, but not too familiar. Man, I went down to 18 viewers, and I had a lot more. That's because Twitch works. There's like 400 people chatting, but I have 18 viewers. So now, you're a computer programmer. What's wrong with them? Why does this thing never work ever? I've already refreshed.
Well,
What's wrong with them?
it needs to have some kind of internal refresh.
It does.
And,
It changes all the time. It does have an internal refresh. How did it go less when that didn't happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not refreshing properly.
Yeah, but it went the wrong way. You know what? So you think if I refresh the stream, it'll be a normal number? I think so.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, there are a lot of different reasons it could be wrong. But
All right, there we go. That's the same number. Now somebody said, and it was a gawking rabble on Hans's stream. They said when I'm on the stream and I'm chatting,
yeah.
there's an indication of whether you're a partner of Twitch or not.
Oh, I heard him
And
say
that that was not indicated.
on your
And they were like, "Why aren't you a partner?" And I've been a partner for 2.5 years. And then Hans said maybe he didn't activate it. So what are those guys talking about?
Yeah, I didn't know there was some kind of indicator.
Right. So do you guys agree with any of that? I mean, I was watching on my phone, so I don't know. But yeah. Twitch is having trouble figuring out how many of us can be called people. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you know? That was so funny. When I was ending my stream,
Yeah.
I was just completely complaining about Hans' chat. Oh, they're the worst humans, and I was in there earlier, and if I'd been a mod, I would have banned everybody or at least timed them out. And blah. And then there was nobody for me to raid, so I had to raid Hans.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just got through trash, you know. I love Hans' stream. I just don't like his chat.
Right. Now, do I have to do something to indicate I'm a partner when I'm in other people's channels, which I never am?
Yeah, I don't know.
What am I supposed to do? All right. Let's see. Thanks, Bonarici. What did Bonarici do? I don't know. A fine gold stream. That is correct. Don't call the manager. Put a sign.
I wanted to call the manager. I wanted to be the manager.
I'm your manager.
I would have just got cleared the
There's
room.
a badge for partners, a setting somewhere to use it. Yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah.
Cleared that room right on out.
Yeah. Would you sign a chessboard if I send a donation? That's a Karen question, but obviously. But still a Karen question. You turn it on in settings. Man, this guy, what's that? He's verified. Let's see, where's settings? Settings? All right, now what do I do?
Nothing. Mess up the stream.
No. Profile settings. Let's see, disable your Twitch account. Prime Gaming, channel and videos. It's too complicated. Partner onboarding, subscription. Ugh. All right, that's all wrong. All right, ban the person who said go to settings. Yeah,
That probably was correct.
you're banned. I know. There's just too many. Now I have 24.
Yeah. See, that at least fixed that problem. Now we lost the chat.
No, chat's there.
No, the history.
Yeah, 24 viewers. All right, well, it works good. Now, in theory, I'm going to be on Chess TV from 9 to 11, but in practice, I don't know yet. Yeah. I see one side. Yeah, now it got to a normal number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong.
Don't go to settings. Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, later we can go to settings.
Well, that's probably not what it is. But anyway, here's my question. Isn't Twitch owned by Amazon, so they have infinite money and that nothing works on Twitch? All right.
Hey, Deshaun Kit Kat.
Hey, all right, we're gonna start doing something. So today's stream is in honor of Kamala Harris becoming our next vice president and then president. So it's ladies' night at the chess club. So what I did was I found some fine female chess players, and by fine I don't mean they play well. No, that's what I meant. And we look at some of the games that are miniatures. Karen will explain what a miniature is.
Good night, CJ. I don't know. It's less than maybe 20 moves.
25 moves or less.
Oh, okay. I know it's a certain number.
And I didn't want to find games where they were beating other women, because I know women don't like women, so we had to find games where they beat men.
That's not even true.
So what happened was I couldn't find any games where a woman beat a man, so I just made some up. All right. So this is the first one, and this is Karen's favorite player. Vera Menchik. Yeah. And she was the first famous female chess player, because she beat a lot of the top 50 players in the world.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Hello. Better to stream on Twitch than work in an Amazon warehouse. I think working in an Amazon warehouse pays more, though. Okay, so how good was Vera Menchik? I've never heard of her. That just says something about you, not about Vera Menchik. Okay, so I don't see her on FIDE. Exactly. Okay, this game was played in 19 Dickety. Let's have a look. I can't see. 1932. Okay, and I have a couple of Menchik games. And she's playing George Thomas. And you know who Thomas is because of the famous game Lasker Thomas. And that's where Thomas's king walks down the board and gets mated. The queen sacrifice. Yeah, you've seen that game. Then he could have castled with mate, but he played king d2 mate. Terrible. Also, as an aside, it was Edward Lasker, not Emmanuel Lasker. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay, so Menchik is white. And it was a King's Indian. This game was played in the 30s. Okay, and then that's the King's Indian. Now, when this game was played, it's possible that Samish was alive. Okay, in fact, it's likely. And so she played the Samish variation, right? Which is F3. Never play F3. And this is all theory. Okay. E5's not the most common move, but it's okay. Knight E2. Now, black played a bad move, a move a Grandmaster would not play. B6. Okay, but this was in the 1930s, so leave them alone. Queen D2. Knight C6, D5. Knight E7. Now, the one good thing about the Samish for white is sometimes white castles king's side, and sometimes white castles queen's side, depending on what black does, and the temperament of the player. And because black played this very silly b6 move, this makes it less likely that white's going to play b4, c5, because black's sort of ready for that. So since black's not attacking on the queen's side, and he wasted this time with his knights, now we can attack on the queen's side, and we can castle queen's side. So she played g4. And this makes sense to attack on the king's side, since black can't really get any counterplay right now. Okay, he played knight d7, which normally indicates you're going to play f5, and she played rook g1. Now f5 doesn't look so good, because we're opening the g file. So he just played on the queen side, but the queen side's sort of blocked. Okay. Now, of course, h4, h5, pretty good attack, right? Okay, queen b8 doing nothing. Bishop h6. Okay, now of course, Vera Menchik knew, even though I wouldn't be born for about, 37 more years, that if I ever did lecture on this game, I would complain about her f3. She knew that. So she made a move to make up for that, which is another one of my emotes, which I say is good. And you got two choices here.
Always play king b1.
Always play king b1, which is not what she played here. That's good. And what's the other one?
Let me look at the. Let's see. Is it a never play or an always? Oh, it is. Oh, she's got to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in H.
Vera Menchik was killed during World War II, as you pointed out. And I wasn't sure what happened, so I sent a text to my good friend Donald Trump, and he said she did die in World War II during the Spanish flu in 1918. What's that?
Knife F5?
Knife F5, that's right.
I was running out of emotes.
Right, and that's a typical move in this position. Now, to query you further, this is a King's Indian Samish, and White's played Bishop H6, G4, H4, H5, Knight F5. What other opening would you see White doing that in? All those moves. Bishop H6, G4, H4, Knight F5.
I don't know.
Let's see if the chat knows. I didn't mean World War I, you just didn't understand the joke. And the main reason you didn't understand the joke is it wasn't a joke. Trump, more than once, he said it yesterday, and he said it like a couple months ago. He keeps saying it. He says the Spanish flu, he said, which started in 1917, which is not true, started in 1918. He said so many people were killed that all the soldiers died and it ended World War II. Then he said it again later. So I didn't say it, I'm just quoting Trump. That was the joke as I texted Trump. Ugh, terrible. Sicilian dragon Yugoslav attack is obviously correct. In the Sicilian dragon, White often does this checkmate kind of thing. Okay, now after G takes F, we're really opening the G file. Let me give you a sample variation.
Play the dragon.
Yeah, then you got mated like that?
They always came in on me like that.
So after this...
And I got in trouble for going D5.
So actually, this move is better according to the engine. Because this move's only plus 20, but this move is forced mate. Okay, and obviously if you play King H8, then this would be annoying. Because that's hard to stop. Okay. All right, so you don't want to open the G file. You can't hang your knight. If you go here, that would be funny. Because it's mate. Okay, so you have to play knight takes F5. Everybody plays knight takes F5. Okay, so obviously White has a big attack down the G line, and what's Black doing? Okay, so he played A3, and she's just like, whatever. She actually invented that, Vera Menchik. She played F6 check. Okay, now the engine announces mate, irrespective of what you do. If you take the pawn, it's the same as the last time. It's the same thing. So you have to move your king. Okay, obviously King G8, Queen here is that's not good. Right? So he played King H8. See? Right. And then she threatened mate. What did Black do to stop mate?
Rook G8.
Correct. Although he inserted to check first, always play King B1. And then he played Rook G8. Then she took, threatening Queen H7 mate, and even better than mate in 1, G7 check. Even better than mate. And the reason it's better than mate is it's hard for you to, because you play on the internet a lot, is after G7 check, that would be a mistake if you were like ding, because you get disconnected a lot. But you don't get disconnected when there's no internet. So G7 is pretty safe. Okay, and he played this. And now you will know Vera Menchik's name is the Lord when she makes this move. That's for you to find because you're also a woman. And you have the advantage of being alive, so I can't ask her what to do.
you would just say queen takes h7.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, every move wins, but that's how you finish the guy off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then he resigned instead of here the Shirov-esque bishop h3 and then mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she showed that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
That is a good puzzle. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. Rook h1 is also, fine, but queen takes h7 seems more, something. Look, it's a record. Fortuna Chess's number of viewers. Pretty good. Okay, and one of them's him. All right. So that was her game with Sir George Thomas. Now, since you play the French, obviously you've heard of Philip Stuart Milner-Berry. Because of the Milner-Berry attack in the French, which I'll show you.
I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about it.
Court Monson subscribed. So in here, see this French here? This is the advanced French. Okay. And then I think people call this see it says Milner-Berry Gambit right there. And then after here you take, this is the Milner-Berry Gambit. Okay, and this is him. So there you go. Okay. Man, she had good records against guys with super British names. It's the most British name I've ever seen. Does he spell Philip like me? He does. 1 L. That's my middle name.
I know.
Yeah. You do? What? All right. Now, in the chat, in the next 5 seconds, write down Karen's last name. Go. You're claiming nobody knows your last name, remember?
Most people don't know my last name.
Right, but what if there's like 1,000 of them in a row? Then
somebody's going to know her, and they can Google real quick. I knew C.L. Smith would know.
Let's see, Karen Black. That's a good joke.
He's that kind of a guy.
That's a good joke. Spielberg, Atlanta Chess Club. That's right, Karen ATL Chess Club. So he's sort of right. All right, for those of you who said Feingold, it's incorrect. The one that's correct is the one everybody's typing. Yeah. Well, Poit is correct.
I was just really surprised that Video Game Pianist knew my last name.
Right. Aren't you two married? That's correct.
Hey, Laszlo.
Gene Hackman never developed his light square bishop in the French connection because he had the black pieces? Is that why? It's French. E4, E6. All right, good answers in the chat except for one thing. All right, now here they've had a different opening, and Milner-Berry played a line that's been discredited since before he was born. When he was born. So bishop f5 is a mistake, and after takes, he didn't play c takes, which is the known, like queen b3. He played knight takes. Okay, so now I'm out of theory, right? So she didn't try to refute this. She just played like normal, solid. You could play queen b3. You could play g3, bishop g2. But she just played e3. Now, for those of you who are confused, which is most of you, if white plays e4 with the fork, right? Now, Vera Menchik didn't see the movie Star Wars because this game was played in 1935, right? So Star Wars wasn't out yet. So she couldn't use the forks. So then after e4, what would black do? Little known fact about this game, very little known. Vera almost lost on time because it took her several minutes to write down her opponent's names on the score sheet. So she was lucky to win.
It seems like knight would just take the knight on c3. Attacking the queen.
Okay, then what?
If it's freeze for me, I always take the pawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So she played e3, and the game went thusly. Sort of, very nondescript, not too exciting. Okay. Now she played queen e2. Now e4 could be serious. So he played bishop g4, pinning her knight. And after e4, he played knight f4. You see how the bishop... Okay, so she played queen e3. Now she's threatening e5 with interference. Mm-hmm. Okay. So he played c5 or e5, confusing the audience. Now, this chess, the chess part of the lesson that I'm going to say now, I could say for an hour because
I don't know.
I get paid by the hour.
Oh.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to say it because I no longer get paid by the hour. Okay. Now, we've talked about this on many streams, and it's something a lot of amateur players have a problem with. Amateur players see what moves do, but they don't see what they undo or don't do or do worse. And this is something in bridge that's very difficult for me. And that's why I'm not a world-class bridge player. There's about 40 reasons, but this is one of them. Mm-hmm. Okay. A lot of what the world-class bridge players do that bad players never do, ever. It's never happened once. No bad player has ever done this in bridge. It's never happened. The world-class bridge players, when their opponent plays a card, thinks to themselves, why didn't they play another card? Why didn't they do something else? Okay, so let me give you an example. You're afraid your opponent has a singleton club. They only have one club. If you have a singleton club and you're on lead, you would normally lead it. So if you don't lead it, then you don't have a singleton club. Okay? And I could tell you a million things like that top bridge players do in their sleep. They play the cards based on what the opponents didn't do. Okay? So one time I was playing bridge with Wes in a side event at the Nationals, and Judy Radden sat down. And I was like, what? Judy Radden's like, Judit Polgar in bridge. And her opponent was Doofus at his best. If he was on fire, he'd be Doofus. If he wasn't on fire, he shouldn't be allowed in the room. Tropic ZRL. Anyway, she was merciless, telling him how horrible he was every second. Okay, and then at one point, the person said, but I thought blah, blah, blah. And Judy said, if I had that, I would have done it. And she said, oh, yeah. I don't have that. So she knows every card in everybody's hand before we even start playing. So the hands don't last long. She just says what happens, and we're like, okay. Okay, so anyway, the point of that is when you make a move in chess, you're always undoing something that was done. Let me give you an example. You play a6. Mm-hmm. You're undefending the b6 square, which doesn't matter, but you are. If you play b6, you're undefending the c6 pawn, and you're undefending the a6 square, which again doesn't matter. If you play here, the bishop on d6 was defending this diagonal, and now it's not. So you have to see what your moves undo, not just what they do. Weak players don't do that. Weak players are like, I'm going to mate him, and I'm going to have a sandwich and Papa John's, but they don't see what they don't do. When you order Papa John's, are you getting a basil roll from a Thai restaurant? No.
No.
So you don't order Papa John's?
No, but I'm a weak player, and I do think about what I'm undefending.
Right. Now, he played e5. So the pawn is undefending these two squares. Mm-hmm. Okay, but he was thinking, Papa John's, right? And the reason is Papa John's was actually called Milner Berries in England, and when they came to the U.S., they sold it to the Papa John's family. So now this bishop is on this diagonal. This pawn's attacked twice, and this pawn's defending this knight. Mm-hmm. So it's too complicated. There's too many captures possible. So when you play e5 and your king is in the middle, and you open up this diagonal, and the pawn is attacked twice, and this piece isn't defended, and this piece is attacked twice, and the thing that's defending it is attacked twice, a lot of bad things could happen. Okay. Now, as you can tell from the previous game, when she played G4, H4, H5, Knight F5, Queen H7 check, she's an aggressive player. And the two things you're supposed to look at are checks and captures. There's only one move here that's a check or a capture. I mean, that's both. What move is that? It's a check and a capture.
Let's see.
For white.
F,
Yeah, because black just moved.
one move that's a check. Oh. Bishop takes F7.
What does the engine say she should do?
It's hard to see. Bishop takes F7.
Right, and then it says the game is over. If your opponent has a move that's a check and a capture, and you're like, oh, I didn't see that. Okay, then, you're geary or something. So bishop takes F7 check was played. Okay, and the idea is, if you take it, which he did not take it. Okay, he played here, so he's obviously losing. The idea is if you take it, now when I take this, your knight's hanging with check, your bishop's hanging, and if I take your knight with check, then you lose your other bishop.
Yeah.
Okay, and the engine says, nah. Okay, the engine actually says here, and then king takes, and then it says white's winning, because knight g5 check is coming. All right, that's the best for black. Okay, and if you take right away, instead of playing bishop f7 check, right? Now after here, the engine says black is fine. Because you can't take this, I'll take with the knight. You can't take this, because check and attack your queen. And if you take this, then I take and defend my knight. So everything's fine. Okay, so bishop f7 check is like an ingenious move, since taking on e5 doesn't work. The guy played king e7. Now, I've said this a million trillion times, okay? And nobody listens to me. When somebody plays the Greek gift, bishop takes h7 check, or bishop takes h2 check if they're black, or they play some trick like this and it's complicated, you just take it. If you take it, maybe you're winning, maybe you're losing. Probably you're losing. If you don't take it, you are losing. I have spoken. If somebody plays the Greek gift, bishop h7, you play king h8, you're losing. You're down a pawn, and you're worse.
I know.
So you have to take it. You can't be like, well, I don't want to take it. I might get mated. If you don't want to get mated, don't play chess. Play golf. You won't get mated. Okay? But if you are going to get mated, you should be ahead a piece. Then when the guy doesn't mate you, you're up a piece.
I listen to
If you decline the piece, then you're losing and you get mated. And if you don't get mated, then you're losing. Terrible. Okay, so he played king e7. Okay, now the game gets super complicated because you like that.
Yeah.
All right. So she takes with the knight. Now she's defending her bishop. You agree? And she's attacking that, and she's attacking that. Papa John's, basically. Okay, so he takes the knight. She takes back. She's threatening this. She's threatening this. So he takes it. Okay. Now her bishop's hanging, so she retreats. So she basically won a pawn, because she took that pawn, everything else was equal, and the king's on e7. So white's winning. Okay, he played g5, and now here's why grandmasters are grandmasters, and you're watching a stream of somebody you can barely stand because you want to get a glimpse of Karen.
That's not true.
What do you mean that's not true? In the chat, am I right? Am I right? Let's vote in the chat if I'm right.
That's not true. If that were true, I would get more viewers.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Yes. True. He's right. Yes. You're right. Okay. Yeah. The truth hurts, right? Yeah. You're right.
Well, then why don't I get
Roasted.
views?
What did that guy next to Karen say? That's right. Tusk 3-piece subscribe. Good. Good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, what lower rated players do here is they like, I'm up a pawn and the king's on e7, and they start celebrating, right? And then they just play random legal moves. Vera Menchik's like, your king's on e7, I'm going to kick your ass, right? So she doesn't go, I'm going to play h3 and bishop d2, and then start shouting out Giri's name. She doesn't do that. If Giri was white here, he would play the most boring, passive, solid move, and then probably be a draw later. Okay? She's like, well, I'm gonna keep winning. So she plays queen c5 check. Now, obviously, you got the two pieces hanging.
Right.
If you play bishop d6, queen takes g5 wins everything. So black, what are you gonna do? Black play king f6. All right, defends everything, right? Okay, bishop e3, getting her last minor piece out. Knight d3 attacking the queen. Queen c4, threatening checkmate. Now, if I was playing a blitz game against one of you, or bullet, you would play knight d3 attacking my queen. So you're like, Ben's going to move his queen away, but I hope he doesn't. I hope Ben doesn't see his queens hanging. And if he moves his queen away, that's because he saw his queens hanging. So when I play queen here, you don't see that I'm threatening mate. You just saw that I saved my queen. That's the kind of blunder low-rated players make. Now, if the queen wasn't attacked, if black played like a6, then queen c4, you'd be like, why do you play queen c4? Oh, he's threatening mate. After here, you're not surprised you play queen c4, so you don't see the threat. Okay, but okay, this is Philip Stuart Milner Barry. So he defended. Okay, and now she did it again. Okay, she played f3 the last game, and then she played f3 this game. She's always getting me. Okay, now he played bishop e6, attacking the queen. You agree. The only safe square for the queen is a4. Right? Or you could trade. You could. Takes, right? Okay. And she didn't do none of that. She said, there's the king. I'm coming to get the king. And she did an interference, confusing the audience. Now, while she's thinking about this, I'm going to give you guys a lecture. When people win pieces and or lose pieces, the main reason is proximity. It's also that somebody's piece for one side is far away from his brethren. Okay? So if you're at war and you're a soldier and you're like, I'm going to go deep in the enemy territory, you guys stay here and take a nap. Either you're going to kill everybody or more likely you'll be killed immediately. Now, the way to understand this properly is if you saw the Family Guy episodes where they do the Star Wars trilogy. Okay? And there's a scene where they're all about to go into space and attack the Empire. And one of the guys says, man, I feel so good. I could take on the whole Empire myself. And they're like, yay. And then he goes and does it. Okay, there's one ship, then there's the whole Empire. And he's like, roar, I'm going to get you. And they shoot one laser and his thing is blown up. That's it. Right. So which black piece is in trouble here? Because it's far away from his friends.
The knight.
The knight. Not only is the knight in trouble, it's attacked. What's defending the knight?
The queen.
So we have to stop that. We have to put something between the queen and the knight.
I mean, you could move your knight.
Where?
To d5.
That's right. Now let's look at the engine. Knight d5 is plus $1 billion, and other moves are like plus 1.
I see it.
I'm just telling you.
All right.
Okay, now when the king is on f6, you can't be like trading everything and then crying to me like, well, my queen was attacked. King's on f6, you got to punish that. The king should not be on f6 in the middle game. It shouldn't.
No.
So you got to punish him. Knight d5. Okay, that's the best move. Now when she took with the queen. Okay, rook a d8, defending the pawn. And now you have to keep attacking the king. Right? What move is the most attacking of the black king? The most attacking. And it makes me happy because she corrects one of her moves I don't like. So she corrects it.
The most attacking?
The most attacking of the black king.
I guess bishop takes g5.
See, now you're thinking. By the way, bishop takes g5. is +8.
Uh-huh.
So that's a good move. But there's a move that's +12, and she played that instead. But that's fine. Bishop takes is fine. It's also attacking like that, but it's more attacking because you get more. If you play bishop takes g5, you're not getting these pieces into the attack, right?
Yeah.
Play a move that helps some of those pieces get in the attack. And I taught you about things that are lined up. We talked about that. Okay. What's lined up with the king? Which white piece is on the same?
Well, the rook on F1.
The rook on
You
F1.
could push that
So you
pawn.
play F4.
Yeah.
Now the king doesn't feel too good.
Yeah.
Because now the rook's coming in. Okay, and your move is good also because you're attacking the king. Okay, takes here, and then she played e takes d5, and okay, are you kidding me? Yeah. Now, what does the engine say?
+12.
Right. Now, earlier, white had the chance to trade queens and trade when you're up a pawn. I've never been so mad. Okay, and white resigned because this is getting black resigned, I should say. Black resigned because this is getting embarrassing. You know, here comes this rook, and
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see, can I make that joke? I guess not. All right. I was going to make a joke about the king being naked, but I didn't do that. All right. So black got really crushed that game because black's king never got safe. White castled early, black never castled, and black did something, and I have to tell you a story. It's a very short story. It's much shorter than Yasser's stories, so you might not like it. There's a grandmaster most of you never heard of called Michael Rode, and his son, Danny Rode, is occasionally on the stream, occasionally, and there's a guy in New York who plays in my tournament sometimes named Jay Bonin. So you got Jay Bonin and Michael Rode. Jay Bonin and Michael Rode have played 1 billion tournament games together.
Yeah.
I mean, they've played over 100 games rated because they both live in New York and they both play all the time. And they're both old, so they got everything. They got everything going on. And at one point he said, yeah, I beat Bonin 30 times in a row with no draws. And Bonin's like 2,400 IM. So that's like what Carlsen would do. And he's like 100 points higher than Bonin. And he says, yeah. He says, Bonin does stuff like opens up the center with his king there, and he starts shaking his head. And then whenever somebody does that, I think of him saying that to me 30 years ago. Like Bonin opens the center up with his king there. That's what black did. White castled, black's king is here, and black opens the center. Right? And then Michael Rode makes fun of you because you lose when you do that. If you can open the center, castle, and then open the center.
Yeah.
And then when the center was opened, she said, well, I'm going to go here. And you can tell from the 2 games that I showed, she was a pretty aggressive attacking player, and she was playing really accurately. And this was 1930, and that guy still hasn't heard of her, so he should donate. Vera Menchik was considered by almost everybody the greatest woman player of all time until who showed up? The one who's now considered the greatest ever.
Oh, Ifan?
No.
Oh, Judit?
Judit. And
That's
you could
Judit.
argue that
Right.
Gaprindashvili or Chaburdanidze was better than Vera Menchik. I don't know. But, I mean, for 40 years, she was the greatest woman who ever lived. And then Judith said, well, now I'm here, so, take a back seat. But, I mean, Vera Menchik beat a lot of famous players, and she didn't win because they hung their queen. She won because she tore them apart.
She was a GM?
No, they didn't have GMs then.
Oh.
And then she died before the GM title existed. I don't know if I don't know if they gave people who died before 1950, if they made them GMs. I don't know. Yeah. But obviously GM strength. Yeah. All right. And then that guy made a good joke. All right. She beat a lot of people. Yeah. But I mean, she didn't just win she was slightly better and the guy hung a piece. The way Magnus wins. She tore people up. The last guy, she sacked her queen on h7. Here she sacks on f7, and she plays e5 and f4 and just rolls the guy over, right? And these are people I've heard of. If I've heard of you and you played in the 1930s, you were pretty good. Because if you weren't good, I never heard of you. Yeah. Fide did an award. She never beat you. What? Please add Papa John shirts to your merch store. Probably not legal.
Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah. You could spell Papa or John's wrong. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Fide disrespecting zombies. That's correct. There's an episode of a cartoon I watch. I don't know which one. I actually don't know which one. Well, somebody will say on the stream. They have a casket. They're burying somebody, but they like bolted. You know, like you can't get out. And the guy says, "Good. That way they won't come back and get us when they're zombies." And the other guy's like, "I'm not afraid of that." He says, "You're a braver man than I am. That you're not afraid of it."
Wait, where was this?
One of the cartoons I watch.
Oh.
But see, I like that. So you're a braver man than I am if you're not afraid of them coming back against the zombies. And it wasn't enough Flintstones. What's wrong with you?
Hey, Pam.
All right. Pap John's, I don't know.
John's.
That's you get half off your Pap smear and you get a pizza. Okay. Yeah.
I have to go soon, so I'm wondering if I should go now.
To get a Pap smear? Free advertising. Karen looks sick of your crap when you mention you watched a cartoon. She's sick of that. This guy says Simpsons. Was that Family Guy? See, Family Guy, Simpsons, they don't know either. Could have been Futurama. Yeah. What was that? I think Fry said you're a braver man than I am, but Homer might have said it. It was either Futurama or Simpsons. Yeah. Jomo 21. Pam says you look good.
Oh, thank you, Pam.
You look good in everything. Right. That explains a lot about Papa John's. That is correct. Yeah. All right, we have 500 viewers. Theoretically, we'll be on Chess TV soon. Theory and practice are the same in theory, but not in practice.
Yeah, so no more talks about pap smears and things like that.
What? Grading for president?
At 9 o'clock.
Why not? What? That's a legitimate procedure.
So we're on, Chess TV.
Legitimate, yeah. Okay, let's go to another game. I have these games in chronological order. The next game is Judit Polgar versus Alexander Halifman. Your favorite world champion, Alexander Halifman.
Hey, no.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to have to leave in the middle of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just quietly slip out.
Let's see. I guess I have to get rid of that. Somebody beat it. What? Meepex beat me to it. He's too quick. Family Guy or Simpsons? Yeah, Zap Brannigan.
Hey, trying not to learn.
A very central disturbance in the force. That is correct. Yeah. All right, yeah, we still haven't had a train yet. Thanks, guys. Yeah, you guys are the best. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now, as you know, since Nigel was here, when Nigel played Kasparov for the World Championship, Fide got Consuela to respond, and she said, she only says one thing.
Good. Oh, no, she's not good.
She said, no.
Oh,
no.
yeah, no. It was
right.
repeated.
And then Kasparov said, I'm the world champion. And the other GMs are like, yeah, he's pretty good. And then Fide said, these clowns are the world champion. Okay. And then the Grandmaster's like, yeah, they're clowns. Okay. And then one of the clown world champions was Halifman. He was the world champion. Fide said, you're the world champion.
Halifman? Hey, Grunge.
Yeah. Grunge War, 200 centidues. Yeah.
I knew I was going to get the wrong.
Yay, it's a train. 300 from I'm Only Here for Chess and Blaze 96. All right. So this is Halifman versus Judit, right?
All right.
And we've seen Judit recently on the Chess 24 streams doing the Magnus tournaments. Okay.
I enjoyed that.
And then some other noises were made, even though nothing happened. Yay.
Maybe it was delayed.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear you. Oh, yeah, you did.
All right, good job. Okay, so let's have a look. Judit likes super aggressive play. Okay, so in this position, e5 is the main move if you're playing the Philidor. If you're not going to play e5, then Judit plays f4. Okay, e5, knight f3, takes, queen takes. Now the reason she plays queen takes And the reason you always play queen takes in the opening, if you do, if you don't, then you don't. But if you do, that's because you want to castle queenside, so you get your queen out of the way. Okay, and then she's going to push all her kingside pawns, Papa John's. Okay, so Halifman played c6 and d5, trying to punish the queen here with things like bishop c5. Okay, now, I say these things all the time and nobody ever listens. The reason they don't listen is they're not watching the stream. When you're a grandmaster, like Halifman, and you're playing somebody younger than you, like Judit, and you're playing a kid, you always want to play boring and chill and equal. You don't want sharp, complicated tactics. And then they always do that and they lose in 20 moves. Halifman didn't even make it to move 20. Okay, this is all tactics. When you're playing Judit Polgar, you don't want any tactics. Okay? So when I played Jen Shahadi, like I showed last week on the stream, I traded all the pieces. She fell asleep and her flag fell. And that's how you beat a sharp player. So this is terrible what he's doing. 100 sent to deuce from Seth, 300 sent to deuce from RYW, Papa John's. Okay, so she took. He played the, bishop c5.
Yeah.
She saw her queen was attacked. Then he pinned her bishop. See? Mm-hmm. Now, if you play king f2, for example, to defend, the knight g4 check is annoying, right? Okay. So you could play king d2. You could, but she played knight d4. She blocked the attack on her bishop. Also, maybe she's a fan of my stream, even though this game was played in 1993, and she wants to play knight f5 later. You never know. 300 sen to deuce from the Joe Show. Yo. 100 sen to deuce, suspicious tissue. Am I doing this right? You did a little bit. You did about 1% right. Okay. Knight b6. Judit likes to take stuff, so she takes stuff. Castles. She likes to castle. That's why she moved her queen. Takes back. Okay. Now, this bishop is under attack, and it can easily be attacked again. You agree? Okay. And if she moves the knight and does some kind of discovered triple double attack, this bishop is hanging with check. If the person's going to take your bishop, you don't want it to be with check. Right. But you want your bishop defended. So if you're going to play bishop f2 or bishop g1, bishop g1's better because it's defended. Bishop f2 is not defended. So if the knight moves away, you're still pinned. So she played bishop g1. Now her bishop's defended. Her knight is free to, do what it has to do. Okay, so since this pawn is attacked, Halifman played queen c7. Okay, now this pawn's attacked with check, you agree. So she played g3. Now her bishop can get out, and her pawn chain is defended. And white's up a pawn, because she took a pawn earlier, and he thought he was going to pin her, and, whatever. Okay, now he made a tactical blunder. The engine says white is +1 because white's up a pawn. And so black should play something like bishop g4, developing his last minor piece, attacking the rook. He's down a pawn, but they castled opposite sides, so it's tricky, complicated. Instead, he tried to punish Judit for her indolence, but it wasn't indolence, it was insolence, because she was playing Halifman. And he made a blunder, losing immediately. Very tactical move. He played rook d8. Okay, and that's a blunder. Notice how you're attacking the pinned piece. However, if my knight moves, and the knight has a lot of moves, then I'm threatening queen takes rook check, because your rook's not defended sufficiently. Well, if I move my knight, you'll take my queen. So I have to move the knight and put your king in check, which is illegal. I can't do that. Or I have to move my knight and attack your queen. If you play knight e6, which does everything I said, attacks your queen, threatens this, bishop takes, and the rook defends the rook. So that doesn't work. What's the other move that attacks the queen? Not knight e6, but?
Knight b5.
Right. So I guess I'm on Chess TV because I have 900 people watching. But you didn't say which knight, so now I'm confused. If you're just joining us, where you been? We're doing great miniatures from the greatest female chess players. And the reason we're doing that is, Kamala Harris is going to be president soon. So, yay. Okay. So, right, she played knight b5. Now, notice this is hanging, this is hanging, this is hanging, and this is hanging. Mm-hmm. So that's complicated. That's why Judith's 2750, because when it's complicated, she's good. However, her lifetime record against somebody like Kramnik, who trades everything and has a slight, that's not good. Not good. So if Judith's playing Shirov or Morozevich or some extremely exciting player, Judith's going to win a lot. When she's playing Karpov and Leko and who was the boring player I already said? Kramnik, not as good because they play boring and solid, and she's like, come on, how about here? How about this? All right, yay, such strong support, level 1. That's pretty good.
Yay.
Yeah, that's, unlimited rice pudding subscribed. 25 months in a row. Unlimited support.
But I say yay and I mean it.
Okay, now you can't allow knight takes queen, and you can't allow queen takes rook, which leads to mate. So the truth hurts.
Yeah.
Okay, so the engine plays queen d7 and says white's +4. Now what I didn't tell you, because I'm saving it as a secret, remember I told you this was a threat and this was a threat.
Yeah.
There's another threat, but I didn't tell you. It's a discovered attack that it wasn't a threat here, but we discovered. So we discovered on the rook. Now we discovered on something else. Which black piece is not defended? We're attacking the queen. We're attacking the rook. Which other piece is not defended?
The bishop.
Which one?
C5.
And it's attacked.
Oh, right.
Well, exactly. So she's threatening this and this and this.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And he just allowed that. He just played rook d8. I didn't do it. She didn't say, oh, the rook's been on d8 for 10 moves. Now I'm going to play this trick. He walked into knight b5. World champion. What is he, Magnus? Okay. So knight here. You have to take the queen. You have to. I take the queen. Your rook's incredibly hanging. You've never in all your years. So he takes the rook with check. And she takes back. She takes with the knight, which is very, 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 very important. If she takes with the king, he has bishop g4 check, and then he can move his rook and attack her knight. But here, he's just getting, this is attacked, and this is attacked. And what do you want the guy to do? He's Samoan. So he has to take the bishop, because what else do you want him to do? Okay, she takes the rook, and then knight on d1 stops bishop e3 check. That's funny. So they traded pieces, and Khalifman's like, where'd my pieces go? So now she's up in exchange and a pawn. The engine says some crazy number, and he resigned. And that game was only 19 moves long. And what's funny about that game, to me, is rook d8 just loses to rook d8, knight b5 resigns. Rook d8 is a horrible move. And when you play rook d8 pinning the knight, and you realize if the knight moves, the queen takes the rook and wins, you gotta make sure you're right. And he didn't calculate this right, and she did. And if it's an engine, the engine just plays knight in 1 second, says knight b5 +5, because that's nothing for an engine. And for the top players in the world, Kasparov and Karpov and Kramnik and Judit and those guys, knight b5 is nothing. You calculate it and you win. So she looked at knight b5, and probably she was confused because he's so good, and it obviously wins. So she's probably like, wait a minute, what did he see that I didn't? And nothing. And she realizes okay, the guy just sucks, and knight b5. And then the guy resigns. I mean, this indicates he didn't see knight b5, or he calculated this, and I don't know. Maybe he only saw king takes. Maybe he didn't see knight takes. King takes is also good, but nowhere near as good because of bishop g4 check, and the rook can get out. So, yeah. So normally top players don't allow this move, then they have to resign. Now, usually they lose because they slowly, whatever. But that's how Judith played. She played super tactical, and she calculated correctly. And then if her opponent didn't calculate correctly, she won in 20 moves.
And what was his world ranking?
He was the world champion.
Oh, he was.
During this game, I don't think he was. He's 20.
He was older, he said.
Yeah, he's 26, 50 feet. Yeah, he's good. Top 100.
Well, I have to go home and put my children to bed since school is tomorrow. So how many more games are you going to do?
Many, because I stream till 11.
Okay. Well, I'll watch once I get them settled and get back on the stream. Yeah, you got a bunch of the Chess TV viewers.
If you can call them viewers. 1,450. Go Chess TV.
Yay.
If you've never seen my stream before, maybe you were in a coma for a few years. All right. Then this is Karen. Hello. So this is my wife, Karen.
Hi.
And she usually hangs out and says, that move's no good. And I'm leaving. Terrible. Right? Halifman's terrible. I'm leaving. Right. Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey, Kappa. All right. Well, you guys enjoy the stream. I'll get back in the chat, though, maybe in like 45 minutes or so.
You're only 45 minutes from Broadway?
Wow.
Pantaglian gave 1 sub.
Yay.
Also 20. Yay, 20 subs.
Thank you, Penn.
Hooray.
All right, see you guys. See you
Queen
later.
d6, knight takes d6 is good. Somebody asked about queen d6.
Oh, yeah.
Then knight takes queen. The best move is queen d7. That's the best move. Okay, then it says white's +4 because white takes this bishop and white's going to be 2 pawns up for nothing, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a nice game. Okay, bye. See you.
My phone. Didn't Halifman get from a slot machine in Vegas? That is correct, except for one thing. Hey, before you leave, can you bring me a Perrier, a little chilled? Yeah. Where are you streaming from? Where I always stream from, the Chess Center. Yay. Now, some people didn't like the fact that Pantaglian gave 20 subs and they want to show them up. They want to donate 25 subs. Let's see who does it first. Is it possible we get to 2,000 subs today or even 1,900? Oh, wow, we lost 100 subs overnight. We had 1,900 subs when I left the stream last night. Now we have 1,800. I hate when that happens. Man. 29 subs. That's right. All right. Good chat. Good chat. Yeah. There's no way I wasn't in the chat. I had to be. Queen e6 would solve everything. Well, if you move like a knight, then you could make. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Legal moves only in the chat, please. Yeah, exactly. Never stop streaming. Yeah. Let's see. I didn't give James a ride home. I gave Tyrone a ride home. You had to walk, James. Nisi Piano was doing well. Nisi Piano beat Ivanchuk, I believe. And then he either lost to Halifman or Akopian. I don't know which one. Yeah, I can't eat chicken unless it's vegan. Yeah, queen takes is a threat here. So, I mean, you're just losing. Yeah. Yeah. So many of your videos. All right. Many chickens are vegan. That's correct. Chickens are good pets. You shouldn't eat them. Okay, now we'll get to Irina Krush because I'm American. So I'm required by U.S. law to show an American's game. And Krush actually, a lot of the top American women have beaten Shabalov, something I haven't done in 30 years. I've played him for 30 years, but I've never beaten him. So I never will. Yeah, harsh. Okay. Yeah. Go Crush is correct. That's right. Okay, Seats Boy 86 gave 5 subs, which I almost missed. It's easy to miss. Okay. Well, Crush is definitely one of the top 5 American women of all time. The other top American women were Aksharamova, who's married to Boris Golko, and Akhmilovskaya, who was married to John Donaldson and then to Orlov, and she died a few years ago. And Irina Levitina, I think, did she play for the U.S. or she never did? I don't remember. I saw her at a couple of bridge tournaments because she quit chess for bridge. I think Levitina played for the U.S., but maybe I made that up. No, she played for the U.S. So Levitina, Akhmilovskaya, Aksharamova are definitely in Irina Krush's class. And one isn't alive, one quit chess for no reason, and one quit chess to play bridge. I'm trying to think who the other top American women were. I guess Carissa Yip right now is one of the top. But okay, I mean, Irina Krush is a Grandmaster. Now, Susan Polgar represented the U.S. At least 2 or 3 times in Olympiads. I don't think she ever played in a U.S. championship or U.S. women's championship. I don't think she ever did. I could be wrong about that. Pretty sure I'm not wrong. And she has played for the U.S. Olympic team maybe 3 times. And I think at her best, she was better than Irina. So there you go. Yeah. Quit chess to play bridge. That is correct. Many people quit chess to play bridge. Yeah, that's correct. One of the top Polish junior chess players from 25 years ago, like a 2450 IM when he was a teenager, he quit chess and he's one of the top 50 bridge players in the world. Yeah. I never knew Russian, and then I got the Grandmaster title, and now I speak it fluently. It's weird. Yeah. What is bridge? You know, you're driving your car, and there's like a river, and then you go over on a bridge. Easy. Okay. Now, Shabalov was not too shabby. In fact, he was recommended as a chess coach by Adam Sandler. Beating Shabalov in 25 moves or less, not too shabby. Let's see. Hey, you can't say that on my stream. That's illegal. Yeah. RYW89 subscribed again. Yay. Okay. Hi from Brazil. Hi, Brazil. I got like a Brazilian guys watching. Yeah. All right. That's right. Shabalov is a quarter Jew, not too shabby. Okay. Although his name's Shabby. Now, if you don't like Shabalov for whatever reason, you're right. Then just, scramble his letters a little, and he's Balashov. Now you're good. Okay. Ben is not vegan. LOL. I mean, if you mean the LOL in the right way, that is correct. Yeah. I know many good Mexican chess players. All right. Okay, so let's look at the game. They played a semi-Slav. They played a very sharp Botvinnik variation. Even I know some of this theory. I've had white in this position. Okay, now in this position, you can take or play g3. Most of the top players play g3. And Shabalov played a line that doesn't have a good reputation. Some people play it. He played queen a5. Normally they play queen b6. Queen a5 is another move. Okay, and the idea is you're attacking this and this because the queen's on a5. So you have to play knight e4, which is fine. And now the pawn is attacked, so bishop a6. And now queen f3, defending this, putting pressure on this. And you can play bishop e2 and castle so that you don't get in trouble here. And occasionally you might even castle queenside if it's right, which it isn't. Okay, and he played rook d8, which is a move I'm not familiar with. Bishop e2, knight b6, knight c5. And the game basically is super sharp, and that's what Shabalov is looking for. But it didn't work out for him. Now, when you play rook to d5, you're trying to play rook takes g5, which obviously you can't do because the queen takes c6 check. So he just took back. And now white has the two bishops. Black's king hasn't gotten to safety over here, which it usually does. And white is still up a pawn. So this is very, very poor position for black. And Shabalov's weakness, if he has one, his weakness now is he's old. That's his main weakness. Shabalov is actually older than me, which isn't even possible. 4-time U.S. champion. So being old is his main weakness in chess. But Shabalov's weakness, which is also his strength, so it's a double-edged sword, is he plays for super complications which often are not favorable to him, but he likes that kind of game, and his opponent does not. So Shabalov's sort of happy, and he's playing the way he likes to play, and his opponent's like, I don't calculate as well as you, and this position's hard, leave me alone. So that's why he's playing like this. But sometimes the engine says, no, that's no good. And he's not playing an engine, he's playing a human, and his human opponents are almost always worse than he is. And so this is one of the issues Americans have when they try to break into the top in the world, is if you're an American, you play in American tournaments, you play a lot of low-rated players. So until you break into the top 20, 30 in the world, and you start playing in round robins with people of your own rating, you're playing a lot of doofuses. And Shabalov plays in a lot of open tournaments in the US, and he's paired down 95% of the time, and he has to win those games, and he plays like this, and he wins those games. But if he's playing a high-rated player, occasionally he loses badly. Not to me. To me, he just crushes me. But I said a high-rated player. Okay, so in this game, he's playing unconventional, suspicious chess, and Crush is just playing well. Crush has the two bishops. Crush has an extra pawn. Crush's king is safer. And the rook is strange here. This pawn's pinned. Queen's on a6. Okay, so no good. So he played b3, and she's like, yeah, whatever. And he got his pawn back. The problem with not having a pawn on b3 is now she can play b3. And obviously that's advantageous to white to open up the center, win her pawn back, pin everything. Okay, he played king d7, which I thought he should have played a few moves ago. It defends the c-pawn, so now his rook can actually move. And he did move his rook. And I mean, white's up a pawn with two bishops. This pawn's not dangerous. I can just take that when I want. He defended it that way, which is pretty funny, actually. Bishop here, threatening this. He played queen a4, and then he resigned. And the engine says white is up like plus 1,000 here. So basically every move wins. And also if it's black's move, white's winning. These pieces never moved, and they can't do anything. The engine way to win is to sacrifice your rook because the queen is defending this. That's not what she would have done. And then play something like bishop f4. And okay, this is plus 1,000. But there's a lot of easier ways to win. One is to play bishop f4 first, threatening to take. One is just to play rook c2 and then take it. It's probably what she would have done, I'm guessing. And okay, he just resigned. So that game, he got totally rolled over because he played a very sharp line. He played a side line of the sharp line that doesn't have a good reputation, and he had no novelties ready. He played it for surprise value and for interesting value, not because he had 20 novelties up his sleeve. If you're going to play super sharp, complicated, Botvinnik, unusual lines, you got to be a professional and have it all computer analyzed. You can't just do it because it's interesting. Now, having said that, he does win a lot of games playing like that. Okay, he doesn't always play like that. And when Shabalov is black against Crush, he wants to win. He would be unhappy with the draw because he's higher rated than Crush. And when you're playing in European round robins and you're playing in world-class events, you don't have to go totally nuts trying to win with black. You can draw with black, and that's fine. Then you win with white, and they give you first place. So a lot of American players play very sharp, uncompromising chess, because when you play in the U.S. Open, not the U.S. Championship, the World Open, the Chicago Open, the National Open, and other large opens I didn't mention, you can't get like 3 wins and 6 draws. You got to do that in a round robin. When you're playing in a Swiss, you got to get 7 wins and 2 draws. So you can't afford to draw. And if you're playing a lot of Grandmasters, you have to beat a lot of Grandmasters if you want that huge first prize. So Shabalov does something which is very well known to do in poker. Okay, in poker, if you could say, I played in 10 big tournaments, I came first in this big tournament, and the other 9 tournaments, I got knocked out immediately. And your friend, assuming you have a friend, he came in 20th place out of 1,000 people in all 10 tournaments. Sounds like your friend's better than you. Sounds like it. You get knocked out in 9 out of 10 tournaments immediately, and he gets to the final 2 tables. Okay? Turns out your first place money was more than his 20th place monies. You made more money than him. In chess, this is exactly true. So Shabalov, a lot of times he comes in first, and a lot of times he does very badly. Conversely, I was pretty solid when I was a good player, so I was coming in tied for 5th, and tied for 9th, and tied for 12th. So when I finished ahead of Shabalov, I'd win $300 and he'd win nothing. And when I finished behind him, he'd win $10,000 and I'd win $300. So his style of play, which occasionally leads to losing, the risk that he's taking is correct. And a lot of chess players aren't like that because they hate losing. So they would rather draw all their games and win no money than lose a couple times. And that's bad for your pocketbook. So Shabalov has won 4 U.S. championships. Those big tournaments I mentioned, like the Chicago Open, the World Open, the National Open, the U.S. Open, he's won all of those. Now, sometimes he has a bad tournament, like here he's getting crushed by Crush, but that's okay. It's one bad tournament, one good tournament, you make a lot of money that way. Okay. And that game, he looked really bad because his king is here, terrible, pawn structure, terrible, 2 bishops, big center, passed pawn, extra pawn, and the engine says white's plus 15, and we're still on move 25. So that game he got destroyed, but this isn't a Shabalov lecture. This is the great women of chessdom. So, yeah, exactly. Now, if we go back in this position, the super GMs play like bishop b7, queen b6. The queen a5, b4, that's not played too often. But queen b6, bishop b7, long castle, c5, b4, Papa John's. And there's tons and tons and tons of theory. Now, obviously, one of the things Shabalov is doing is trying to play a line that he knows better than his opponent, which isn't the main line. It didn't seem like he knew it better than his opponent, if you know what I mean. It seemed like he just didn't know it that well. All right, these things happen. Okay, now I have a game Crush played against your favorite streamer and your favorite tennis player, Mark Esserman. And Esserman plays chess very much like Shabalov. He likes to mix it up. Sacrifice, double-edged. And if you do that and you play inaccurately, you can lose really badly. And if you play accurately, you can beat much higher rated players. A good example, my good friend Simon Williams beat Boris Gelfand with black and a Dutch. Okay, the Dutch doesn't have a great reputation, but Simon Williams likes it, and he got a position he liked. He outplayed Gelfand, and he won. Truth hurts. When I'm black against Gelfand, I play passive and losing 40 moves. So, yeah, and don't forget to donate, what that guy said. Right. Go viewers. 1,800, 1,900 viewers. 9. Right. Ginger GM and me are like, that son. In fact, my phone's been blowing up with Ginger GM texts. Okay. So anyway, here's the game. He played the Dutch. Okay. And then after G6, to play the Leningrad Dutch, also Leningrad. Did I say Leningrad? What am I, Trump? Crush played super aggressive. God damn. Kind of move I would play. H4. And by me, I mean like in a 1 minute game. And then she played H5. So she was ahead of her time. Obviously, all the super GMs are playing H4, H5 now. This game was played in 2008. After takes, a lot of people would sack the exchange, but she correctly played E4. She'll sack the exchange when she feels like it. Like after takes, then she might sack the exchange. Force that king to move. So he just went back. And she took, and he took, and the engine loves white here. Bishop G5. She's playing super aggressive, and Esserman's king doesn't really have a good place to go. Normally, when you're playing an aggressive kind of player like Esserman or Shabalov, the way to beat them is to out-aggressive them. And then they don't want to be on the defensive. That's not their style. So he has to defend now because she's got that open H file. Okay, he pinned his own knight. She made a battery, and she's going to castle queenside. Vera Menchik style. And she played knight d5. God damn. This is why when you're a strong player, you want to play other strong players. Because then you won't miss things that when you relax against a weaker player. Now, knight d5 may not be the best move in the world, but it definitely is the most aggressive. Okay? And as I've said many times, you got to take those things. Now, here's the main line, which was not played. E takes d5, rook e1, knight e4, bishop e7, knight takes queen, bishop f6 check, king f7 or king f8, bishop takes, and after this, it says white is like +1, +1.2. Black's actually a pawn up, but white wants to go here, and doubled pawns, isolated pawns, and no development. So even though black's a pawn up, the engine prefers white. That's the main line according to the engine. Okay, after knight d5, Esserman didn't take, he just played queen f7. He said, you're all talking a bad. She didn't care about that. And she traded, and she played bishop e2, threatening bishop h5. He stopped that, takes, knight f3. Again, black is a pawn ahead because she sacrificed a pawn, but okay, he's got this going on. His king is open on the g file. She has the h file. Her king is safe. She has a lead in development. The engine says she's completely winning. So she punished Mark's lack of development and unusual opening by playing super aggressively. Let's see. I don't think anybody rated. I think I'm just on Chess TV. When I'm on Chess TV, I get 2,000 viewers sometimes. Chess TV is huge now. Hi, Chess TV. All right. Yeah, usually the raids are only good for about 3 minutes. If I get raided by somebody who has 1,000 viewers, their 1,000 viewers leave in about 3 minutes. They're like, what is this garbage? And they leave. But Chess TV, they can't leave. They have to figure out how to leave and they can't. By the time they figure it out, my stream's over. So, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, this garbage is good. Yeah. Okay, so she's going to double it up on the bubble up. She's going to play rook h6, attacking the queen, and then she's going to double on the h-file and Papa John's. So he played queen g7, getting out of the way of the rook here. Rook h3, threatening rook g3, obviously. Rook f6, so he can block. Double up on the bubble up. And he played f4, so the queen could never get in there. So if she takes, he'll just take the two rooks. And the queen is, out of the, yeah. Now the problem with rook f6, queen g7, and f4 is Mark forgot about these pieces. And also he forgot about Dre, which was okay because this game was played a long time ago. All right, now Crush played an amazing move that I would never consider. It's too hard for me. The engine says it's plus 7.5, so it must be a good move. She played the Matt Larson recommended g4. She wants to play g5, and if the rook goes to g6, bishop d3, god damn. Okay, so he takes en passant because he knows the en passant rule. He has to play rook g6. She attacks the rook. He has to trade. And this is still like this. All the game has been on the king's side. Obviously, black's extra pawn is meaningless. Finally, he develops a piece. Too late. And after rook h6, he resigns. She sacrifices her knight. Taking the knight is poison because you get checkmated. The queen, rook, and bishop do an excellent job checkmating you. Okay, and the main line is this. This is the engine line. And then mate. Now you can't take the knight because you get mated. Now you can't go here, here, here. These moves all lose the queen. So your choices are queen here. These are your 5 choices. You can't go to g7 because rook g6 pins your queen. If you don't defend g5 by going here, queen g5 check, god damn. So if I was black and I didn't feel like resigning, I would definitely go there because I'm stopping queen g5 check. And then the engine says every move is plus 1,000, but it actually announces mate with that move, doubling up on the bubble up. And you can't play queen g7 because rook g6, and there might be better than rook g6, I don't know. And then, okay, obviously these pieces are irrelevant. So that was a crushing victory for Crush, which makes sense. Her name is Crush. And it was a very one-minded. Crush is like, rawr, e4, h4, h5, g4, and attack that king. And Esserman didn't have any defense over here. Okay, castle queen side, and then just bum rushed him on the king's side, and that worked. So excellent game by Crush, a real crush. All right, we got a donation, big money, no whammy, stop. $9.99 from R.A. Kelly, my favorite R. Kelly. Always play the Dutch. 2,000 viewers. God damn. How about queen c2 instead of g4? Well, you're finding improvements for white. White won pretty easily. You're like, why didn't white win easier? Now, I had a similar story, and it was also a Dutch. How could that be? I was white against Chukmakov in Reykjavik 1990. He played the Dutch. I tore him to smithereens. When the game ended, we were analyzing it, and all the Soviet Russians were trying to hook him up. And instead, they were finding improvements for me. Or so they thought. And Chukmakov got mad. It's like, don't find improvements for him. I crushed him. Like, find improvements for me. And their moves for me weren't improvements. They were just like, why can't you go here? And I would tell them why. But I mean, I won easily. So white won easily, and in the chat, you're finding improvements for her. I mean, gotta find improvements for black. Back to the drawing board. When you play super sharp, super complicated, you win a lot of games, especially if that's your style and you enjoy that. But you also lose games. You don't have a lot of draws, which is what the spectators want. And people like to look at one game and determine somebody's career. Let's say, for example, Svidler plays the Grunfeld and he loses, and you Monday morning quarterbacks? Yeah. You Monday morning quarterbacks are like, well, why do you play the Grunfeld? You should have played the Queen's Gambit declined. But you don't look at the other 30 games where Svidler won and drew easily. You find the one game and then you're like Kamala Harris, 35 years ago, she did that. I don't like her. And I'm like, what about the last 35 years? You're like, nah, I don't care about that. So obviously, if you dig deep enough, you can find chess games that people lost, then you can trash talk about them. Okay, you can say, he lost that game, he's the worst. Okay, and that's what people do is they try to kick you when you're down. Okay, like Nixon. I love to kick them when they're down. All right, and he can become president again because he has a whole new body. Okay, so we got Yifan. She's playing in the Chinese Championship. She's also behind me. Somebody's got to be behind me. And she has the black pieces, so we'll flip the board. I actually don't know if her opponent's a man or a woman. I'm very confused. Can somebody who's Chinese, who knows all Chinese names, tell me if her opponent's a man or a woman? With that I at the end, I don't like it. I was trying to show games women beat men, but now I'm getting scared. That could be a woman. Could be. Anybody? Yeah, I think it's a woman too. It's a man. All right, that's good. Even if it's a woman, at least I got confirmation. Indo Queen. You're the best Indo Queen. Kick Nixon, crazy like a fox. 2,150 viewers adieu. Some of them were leaving and saying adieu. Also, in theory, Irina Krush's name is pronounced Krush, but we're gonna pronounce it wrong because that's better. Let's see. All right, nothing on the phone is interesting. It's a dude. Okay, good. Great. So we're keeping in the, okay. So this is in the Chinese Championship. Okay, and they play a Ragozin variation. Black sacrifices a pawn. And white takes with the queen. It's much safer with the pawn, I mean. It's much safer to take with the queen and get some ending where you're very, very, very slightly better. But, okay, he took with the pawn. And then he played knight d4. What about these guys? They just sit there the whole game? And then he took that. Again, very dangerous. So she's sacrificing pawns, but she castled, got all her pieces out. She's ready to harass the queen, and the white's Papa John's over here. Okay, and the engine says it's about equal, which is bad. And by bad, I mean bad for white. When you're up 2 pawns and your opponent has compensation and the engine says it's equal, that means they got enough compensation. That people don't like defending those positions. Now, instead of trying to develop, for example, the engine says g3 is a move, trying to get the bishop out, or queen b4, defending the pawn and trying to get away from the rooks, the guy decided to play aggressively, and I think this is the losing move. I think so. He played c6. Okay, I don't know if he's losing, but it's close. Okay, he's like, yay, my pawn, I'm the best. Okay, the engine wants to play rook fb8. She played rook ab8. Queen takes a7, rook a8, queen c7, knight e5. So white's up 3 pawns, but black has everything. This rook is great. This knight is great. Queen is good. Here comes the other rook, and this is all terrible. Very terrible. Now the engine says because of this move, white is okay. And what you guys will never understand, no matter how many times I tell you, it doesn't matter what the engine says. Practically speaking, You can't play white here. You can't do it. You got to defend perfect every move, and then you're equal. And nobody defends perfectly every move. So in practice, black's going to score like 80-85% here if the players are the same strength. Because white can't extra, Now, if two supercomputers are playing, then white's going to be fine. But you can't have these positions where you don't develop your pieces, you make 30 queen moves in a row, and you're like, I'm up a doubled pawn. Well, you can't do that. It's too hard to do that. E3 is a good move. Engine says it's fine. Rook C8. And now, the engine just decided like it hates white's position. It says this move is forced, and he played this move, and now it says it's all over. Now, if I was white, I would be worried about rook A B8, which is okay, but rook C B8 is better. Okay, because we want this rook here so we can do some damage later. Queen C5 isn't good. Rook B2 threatens this. Yeah, and this is terrible. The C pawn's not dangerous. If somehow you cheated and play C7, you still don't have a threat, and I can just play bishop C8 and then go mate you. Obviously, you got to stop queen F2. So it's funny, E3, the idea was to get the bishop out somewhere in castle, but E3 opened the 7th rank, which we discussed in the first game, the Vera Menchik game. You make a move, and you open up, right. And the engine says white's completely lost here. F4, and now I'm going to let you guys think about it a little. If you don't want to think, you could leave a large donation. That's okay. I won't get mad at you otherwise. Yeah, and here E5 made a brilliant move. The engine move. A move that would be very hard for a lot of you to consider. Very difficult. And after her move, the engine says she's +9. God damn. Maybe she's German after all. Now, many moves win for black, and it's not even clear this move wins the most. There's so many winning moves. But this is definitely the coolest move. Rook takes G2 is correct. Also, Queen G6 is completely winning. Queen G6. A move I don't understand. Why can't I take the knight? What am I missing? I don't know what I'm missing. Let's find out what I'm missing. I'm missing something. Oh, this is just like checkmate. God damn. Yeah, if rook takes rook, this is mate. Man, truth hurts. Man. All right. So she played rook G2. Now, if bishop takes G2, then knight D3 check wins the queen. That's one of the points. But the main point is I want to play queen H4 check, and you can't play G3 now, and you really don't want to play king D1, because I got all my pieces are mating you. You get mated like immediately. Okay, now this is the shocking move of the century. It was a slow century. What move would white make here? And if you were black, you would go, whoa. And that's what happened. I'm not saying that E5 went, whoa, but you would. It's true. You would be like, wow. Rook G2 is cool. The next move is even cooler. It loses horribly, but it's really cool. That's right. One guy got it. I can't read his name. Lef something, Kosh. Yeah. Castles. Oh, damn. That's the horse of a different color. All right, then double up on the bubble up. Man, the truth hurts. Plus 1,000, developing his bishop. Knight C4. It doesn't matter what black does. Black's winning. Rook takes D1, and white resigned. Let's analyze the two obvious moves. If king takes D1, queen takes C3. God damn. All right, then it's mate in one probably. All right, and if rook takes D1, then queen G6 threatens the knight, and it threatens queen G2 check, and it threatens queen D3 check. And the engine announces mate in 10 here if white plays perfectly, which he won't. So after rook takes D1, he resigned. A crushing victory for Yifan, who's now like a professor at some university in China. Yeah. Not even a chess professor. And as far as I know, and I can be wrong, you guys will refute me in the chat, all 2,300 of you. When Judit was about to retire, maybe a year before retirement, Judit played Ifan in Gibraltar, and Ifan crushed her. And I don't think they played any more games. I think that was the only game they played. Now, I know Ifan beat Judit when Judit was like leaving chess and Ifan was getting towards her peak, but I'm not sure if they played other times. That was the only game I know about. Also, it could have been Isle of Man because I confuse Isle of Man and Gibraltar. I don't know which tournament's which. I just know I never go to them, and the Gibraltar one has monkeys everywhere. Yeah. I refute you. That's right. January 31st, 2012. Yeah. All right, that's possible. Yeah. Hi, Chess TV people. We're doing because Kamala Harris is going to be the president soon. We having a stream about great miniatures from the best female chess. Sort of like it's a miniature when Biden becomes president. He's pretty old and maybe he's a little sick, so it might be a miniature. And then Kamala gets in there and takes care of stuff. Yeah. Maybe she'll make Pence her vice president. No, she won't do that. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. If he forgets he's president, then she's president. Now, when Ronald Reagan forgot he was president, then Nancy was the president. So maybe that's how it works. Maybe Dr. Jill Biden's the president. I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean, but I would be very surprised if Biden wins the election that he serves out his term. That would really surprise me. I'm not saying he'll die. I'm not saying he won't die. But I think he'll be like, man, leave me alone. Old. That's what I think is going to happen. I think he's going to offer a draw. The draw will be declined, and then he'll resign. He'll be like, all right, you're the president. Leave me alone. That's what I would do if I was him. I'd be like, all right, I'm president for 2-3 years. That's enough. Leave me alone. All right. Exactly. Well, if Don wins, then that's different. Yeah. Okay. Then that's the horse of a different color. All right, we got another Judit Polgar game because, we do. The games are shown in chronological order, not by order of player. This game was played in Reykjavik 2010, and by Reykjavik, that's how I read Kanti Mansisk. Really? That's what I did? I read Kanti Mansisk as Reykjavik. So this was in Kanti Mansisk 2010 Olympiad. Judit was playing for the Hungarian team, obviously the men's team, frankly, which is also the open team. They don't call it the men's team. What am I, Trump? I can't read. Terrible. All right. And then after this game ended, a lot of people got sick, and that's what ended World War II. I like when the reporters ask Trump a question, and then he just, the first 7 or 8 words, he attempts to answer the question. Then he just says, all right, now I'm going to talk about 12 other topics. And then he's done, and you're like, what was the question? What happened? That's actually funny. So, all right. The truth hurts. All right, 2,300 something ados. Viewers. Yeah. Let's see. Go Curb. Yeah. A vain attempt. That's true. Yeah. What about the questions he answered cogently? Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's what he did. And so forth. All right. So what's going on here? All right. So Judit has the black pieces. Obviously, her opponent's lower rated. And it's a Sicilian. Most grandmasters play G6, and many grandmasters, such as myself, play E6. D6 is pretty uncommon. And they got a position that looked like a Ruy Lopez, not a Sicilian. And Judit doesn't play black in the Ruy Lopez, so. But this looks like a Ruy Lopez. Or, an Italian something. Okay, just don't blink. All right, now, if you've been watching the whole lecture and listening, I explained in previous Judit games, you gotta chill out. You gotta be calm. And so far, White's done great. There's no tactics. It's boring. The engine says he's slightly better. And if Magnus or other Karpov and those kinds of players were playing Judit, they would be very happy with this kind of position. Okay, but this guy's lower rated, so being patient and maneuvering around, that's not his forte. So he played d4, which is already a mistake because White's not ready to play d4. And Judit realized that, and she pounced. She didn't play bishop f8, h6, queen c7, and then the players agree to a draw. She said, oh, he played d4 too early. And she's right. In the Ruy Lopez, in the main lines, you will notice most of the time before White plays d4, if White plays d4, that he prefaces it with h3 to prevent what happened. And we can go back and look at a normal Ruy Lopez, the most common line, and not the Marshall, because we are Marshall, no football. Okay, this position has occurred in Grandmaster chess many times, and about 80% of the time, Grandmasters play h3. They want to play d4, but they don't want this pin on the knight and the d4 pawn is attacked. You would take, and play bishop here. And that's also theory. Okay, so Judit punishes d4 by trading on d4 and playing bishop g4. And White didn't, White's pieces are all here. So the reason she trades on d4 first is if d5, she can play knight d4. Obviously, if she plays bishop g4 right away, then after d5, you can't play knight d4. So that would be a mistake. So takes, bishop g4. Hide the Spoon subscribed. Oh, hi, Greg. Wait a minute, you misquoted the movie. 2,463 viewers a do. Time to, for a train or something. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Feel the burn. Man, you guys are pretty political against the guys who are going to win. Why do you hate the guys who are going to win so much? Just because the last guy who won? Yeah, all right. Okay. All right. So things aren't going well for White because Black's already threatening stuff. Black has seized the initiative. Khan gave 100 centidues and Zan 13 did. Does that mean it's not time for a train yet? Boo, boo. Okay. All right, good chat except for one thing. All right. So he played d takes e5. He wanted it to be the boring world of Niels Bohr. He was like, let's trade everything. Let's draw. Everything's fine. So d takes e5 is the boring move. So she plays knight takes e5. Let's get some attack going. 500 centidues, go Kamala. I don't know which Kamala I like more, the wrestler who died or 100 centidues, RYW89. Yeah. Remember, when you win 92% of the time, you lose 8% of the time. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing The Simpsons, but somebody said 92% of the time. So. Okay. He played knight e3, which the engine says is correct, attacking the bishop. You could take and double the pawns, but Judit Polgar is a grandmaster. Two bishops, what else? So she plays bishop h5, maintaining the pressure. So she's got this pin action going. She's got some pressure on the e-pawn. She got the c-file for her rook. She got the e-file for her rook. And White's play is basically shallow and pedantic. Okay, he put it in h3. She put her rook on the open file. She's got a lot of overworking going on here. He played g4, which the engine recommends. Bishop g6, putting pressure here. The engine says takes this, but says black is better. That was the best move, though. He played knight d2. Now, this is a common problem that the weaker player has in this kind of matchup, is they're not ready to play aggressive, but they play aggressive anyway. Okay, obviously, white's pieces are very passive and not very good, and they're getting attacked. The king is exposed. These pieces haven't moved yet. And he's like, I'm going to play f4 and f5. Rawr, I'm the best. Okay, and that's no good. Not only is it no good, the engine says black has lots of good moves. The standard good move is d5, but Judith played another move which is equally good, queen b6. She's like, you want to play f4? You're a daisy if you do. Okay, and it turned out he was no daisy. He's no daisy at all. Okay, and I don't blame the guy for missing the whirlwind of tactics that he heretofore falls into. You guys are really going to enjoy it. Okay? The more you donate, the more you enjoy it. The engine says a4 and king f1, and black's winning, but black's only a little winning. But white didn't play knight d2, so he could play passively. He played knight d2 to play f4, and he played f4. And you will know Judith's name is the Lord when you see this move. God damn. Now, the engine says that several moves win, but if this move wins, then you have to play it. And she did play it. And then you'll know what it's like when Judith has a gun. Okay, and obviously, pushing all the pawns in front of his king, and his knight's pinned, this pawn's attacked twice, and this rook's on the open file, and these pieces can't move, Papa John's. Okay, and he gets totally crushed very quickly. She puts him out of his misery. Now, I've been waxing idiotic so you in the chat can, put the right move down. You guys got your engine started yet? No? Nothing? Nobody put the right move down. By the way, the move that you guys did put is good. It's just not the best move, but it's good. Brian Rampage, that is correct. Somebody got their engine going. Good job. Knight to d5. God damn. I'll let that sink into you for a while I have some period. So the problem is the knight is pinned, so you can't play knight takes knight. I want to play knight takes knight. And this pawn's also pinned, so if you take this, I can play bishop takes c2, attacking your queen, my rook defends, and your knight is still pinned. God damn. So the engine says black's like plus 1,000. And this is how Judith used to beat everybody when she was in her prime. And obviously she's not used to playing Rufus and Doofus. Judith's games were against Kramnik and Kaspar, Anand. But you never heard of this guy, and now you know why. Because this guy, he doesn't get his bishop and rook out, and even though Judith's pieces are all out, he still plays g4, f4, e4, and opens his king up. Yeah. This is how Fallujah wins now. Yeah. Can't you just defend the knight again? While your bishop's attacked and your knight's defending it, but your knight can't move? So, no. That's terrible. I got knight c4. All right. So, the best move, which is plus 6 for black, is here. Horrible. Terrible. Now, if it was black's turn to move and you saved your knight somehow, then I play knight takes f4. God damn. Then I'm up material and I have a threat and your position's destroyed. And most importantly, Papa John's. Yeah. Rook takes c2 was a good move, knight d5 is considered better by the engine, but rook takes c2 is also winning. That is correct. Okay, he took on d5. She took on c2. He played queen e2, which is forced. She played knight d3. God damn. And now bishop h4 is coming. Ah, help. What a world. Who would have thought a little water would ever fall on this guy? Knight takes f4, knight takes e1, bishop h4, etc. Knight f3, knight takes f4, knight takes e1 was also good, but she likes her knight. Queen h2, knight back to d3. Bishop d1. That's why rook e2 is a mistake, although it didn't matter. I'm sure the guy didn't see bishop d1. Notice how the knight on e3 is pinned. Yeah. Now the engine says black is up +8, even though black's only a pawn up. So white resigned. Papa John's. I mean, from like a boring Ruy Lopez type of closed position, then it got opened up, and it didn't open up well for white. White's king is exposed, the knight is pinned, the black pieces are all in the right squares, and you see that a lot when there's a mismatch, and so in most sports, not all of them, you don't see a mismatch. When you watch the NBA, those teams are pretty good. You don't see an NBA team playing a high school team. You see what I'm saying? In professional football, the teams are pretty good. You don't see a pro football team playing a middle school football team. There'd be a lot of kids getting killed then. So in sports on television, the television station doesn't want it to be 56-0 after 5 minutes because you'll turn it off and watch something that's competitive. So in chess, often the games are not competitive because tournaments, everybody's playing in the tournaments. So if you go to a scholastic tournament and there's 500, 600, 1,000 kids, half the games are 4-move checkmate. One guy's just taking all his opponent's pieces. They're not competitive games. So what we try to do when we have these big tournaments is, we have people who are all about the same strength. Even if they're not the best in the world. Even if it's like Title Tuesday, which is not called that anymore. Then, the Grandmasters, Greg Shahade, for example, beat Gregory Oparin, who's a 2650 GM, and also beat Fabiano Caruana today. That means when Greg plays Fabi and you think Fabi's going to win, sometimes Greg wins. When I play Mamedyarov and you think Mamedyarov is going to win, sometimes I win. Not too often. But, okay, when Judit Polgar plays some guy you never heard of in the Olympiad, and it's probably round 1, all right, then, then this guy gets run over. What are you going to do? Like, got hit by a bus. He's like, why didn't I move these pieces? And you remember when Irina Krush beat, he keeps them away and shit. What's his name? Mark Esserman. He also didn't move his pieces on the queen side. Okay? It's like Morphe all over again. And the very best players in the world, usually they don't lose like that. And when they do, it's a one-off. Example, 2 days ago, Naka lost the first game. He went down like a punk against Dublov. Dublov tore him limb from limb. And then Naka's like, okay, you got your one game. I played bad. Now I'm going to play good again. And then he beat Dublov every game. Dublov had no hope. Okay, but that first game, Naka's like, God damn, I got my ass kicked. Then he won the rest of the games. So a lot of times when it's a mismatch, when there's a world-class player against a non-world-class player, sometimes it looks like this. And sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes Judit would barely beat somebody who's 2,300. And the next game, it just runs him over like he can't play. That's truth hurts. I hate when that happens. All right, we got more Ifan. Everybody Ifan tonight. Also Wang Hao. All right, now her opponent's name is Radislav Dimitrov. That sounds pretty good. That sounds like that guy's a good player. His name sounds good, Not saying that he is. Yeah, Morphe liked his opponents too. 2,500 viewers to do Papa John's. Right, exactly. A non-played exhibition against 2,200. God damn. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. No, sometimes, somebody good plays somebody who's not good for whatever reason. And then, sometimes the truth hurts. It happens. Like when I play on my stream, I'll lose to 1,300s, 1,500s. But sometimes, not often, I play at my full strength and then the truth hurts. And then you're like, that guy's not 2,000. Ben's up 700 pieces. Well, I'm not 2,000. But I look like I'm 2,000 when I look like I'm 2,000. Never play F3. All right. So you guys thought I was rooting for the Chicago Cubs, but never play F3. Okay. Now, of course, the games I'm showing you are played under tournament conditions. So, Ifan's going to play good. If I showed you my best games, I'd play good too. Not as good as Ifan. Also, I never play well because Weird Al didn't teach me that. And so when I play on the stream, then I play very silly. Okay, I'm not, But the games that I'm showing you, these people aren't kidding, if you can call them people. All right. So Ifan, her opponent is about 150 points lower than she is. So she wants to play an unusual, unclear, slightly suspicious opening that her opponent knows nothing about. And then her opponent has to make his own moves. And then when her opponent makes his own moves, she's better than him. And when you're doing that, you don't want to play too badly. You want to be equal or a tiny bit worse, but have some weird position. And your opponent's like, well, you're better than me. Stop doing that. And that's what she did. She played very unusual opening with black. Knight A4 is a very strange move. It happens sometimes in Nimzo Indians when you're trying to trap the bishop on B4. Obviously, the bishop's not going to get trapped. So that's Knight A4, I think, is a silly move. All right, he just went back. Or she did, I should say. Yeah, and they get this really weird position where maybe white's a little bit better, but the guy can't just play based on his understanding of chess and his opening knowledge. He's got to think for himself. Okay, and a lot of people, they don't want to think for themselves. They want to play 25 moves a book and then agree to a draw. Scary. Excuse me. Okay, so Knight H4. Low-rated players like to trade pieces when they're paired up. They love it. And then she played Knight G4. God damn. Attacking those knights on the side. I don't know which one of them is playing Stranger. Thank you. I wonder how many of you don't know that was a fake sneeze. Looks like about half of you. I just sneezed that draw. I got that Anish Giri in. That's right. All right, 2,500 viewers to do Papa John's. The more you donate, the more trains that we have. Something like that. All right. So he takes and she takes. Now, one of my rules is if you fianchetto your bishop, you can't trade your bishop, but both of those players broke that rule, so I guess that's fair. But you got to watch your king when all your pawns are on dark squares and you have no white squared bishop to control the white squares. And you might be thinking, come on, Feingold, that doesn't matter. Yeah, tell me it doesn't matter in 10 moves. I dare you. I double dare you. You speak English and what? Okay, Knight F3, stopping this, obviously. C5, blocking it up on the bubble up. Bishop C3, Queen E8, getting those white squares going. Got to control those white squares. E3, giving up more white squares. I don't know about that. Punishing the white square weakness. Knight B8, Breyer style. It's like, oh, it's like Gangnam style. Pretty boring, pretty boring. Bam, I stole a pawn. So Queen F3, that's a really big blunder. Takes, takes, takes. And I assume the guy saw it, I think, and he thought he was going to play Queen B7, and he was going to take all these pawns. he thought it was pandemonium time. So I think he sacrificed the pawn thinking he was going to take everything, I guess. Knight e4. The guy's like, I'm going to take everything. Then knight g5. He wants to go here and he wants to go here because there's no defense of the white squares. Are these pieces going to defend the white squares? Ish don't think so. All right. So white's still okay. He played rook bd1 double question mark. If anybody ever writes a book called The Wrong Rook, where you're moving your rooks towards the center, this position should be on the cover. The engine says rook fd1 is equal. And the difference is white has the f1 square for his king, so his king is safe. After rook bd1, he's dead lost. JAA gave 10 subs. Good. Good. Okay. And when your opponent plays horrible blunder, you got to punish them. Knight f3 check. Okay. Now, if you play king h1 and I trade and play queen h5, I'm threatening mate. And if you stop the mate, then I can play knight takes bishop and your rook's hanging. So he played king g2. And now the game only went one more move and white resigned. This move's awesome. Recommended by me. 100 centidues. Thanks, RYW. Everybody is correct. The more ads you watch, the more Karen and I can go back to Italy. Queen A8, goddamn, I said goddamn. And the engine says it's checkmate. White can't get out of checkmate. It announces mate. That'll teach him to trade off his white squared bishop, then move all the pieces away from his king. Now this guy's like 24-something FIDE. Okay, but it didn't look too good because Ifan's a lot better than that. What's weird, and I was surprised. I got two surprises for you. About 3 years ago, it could have been 10 years ago, I don't know. Ifan lost a match to Karpov that was a rapid match. It was 3 or 4 years ago. I was really surprised. I thought she would, take him to the cleaners. Maybe she did, but his stuff was clean. And the other surprising thing about Ifan is she played Hikaru about 3 or 4 years ago in one of those blitz things that chess.com has every day. And they played for hours, and she didn't win any games. She lost 25 games and drew 5. Now, obviously, he's going to win, but, she should win a game. One of the games was a dead draw, dead. And she clicked the draw button, but she accidentally clicked resigns. That actually happened in Title Tuesday recently. The guy, it was rook against rook, and the guy clicked resigns instead of draw. Truth hurts. Queen A8. Man, I love playing queen. I love doing that. If you've watched my stream a lot, I like to do stuff like that. Yeah. A sneeze Geary is correct. Yeah. So after Queen A8, the guy resigned. But basically, the guy played the wrong rook. If we go back, and he plays the right rook, rook FD1, okay, now if knight F3 check, I can play king F1. But you can't play king F1 when your rook's on F1. You play king G2, then after here you resign. You're getting smothered. So incredible blunder, rook BD1. Then it's just the rest of the game took 2 moves, and it was mate. It's forced mate. So rook D1's equal rook BD1. Now I can go into a long spiel. A lot of times, and we can use Karen as an example, somebody loses and they think, man, my opponent's too good and I'm furious. Okay. And it's not true. Sometimes when you lose, it's not because your opponent's too good. Sometimes it is. It's because you made one mistake. If we could go back to that point and you don't make that mistake, you will not lose. The game ended in 1 move. The other 30, 40, 50 moves, you guys were the same. And you incorrectly think, man, I got run over and I suck and whatever. Okay? But here, if he had played rook here, maybe he would have lost anyway because she's a better player, but he's not worse. And after here, the game is just over. And if you were a strong player and you walked by this game, even if you're not a strong player, and you see this position, the better you are, like Magnus is pretty good, he would be like, God damn, White got his ass kicked. But if you saw the position 2 moves ago and White played rook FD1, he would say, yeah, this guy's playing pretty well against Ifan. It's one move, changes everything. You can't blunder in chess. You can make moves that are a little bad, maybe even a little more than bad, but you can't make moves that hang your queen and hang mate, because that ruins the rest of the game. Usually, the best players in the world aren't hanging their queen. They're not hanging mate. Sometimes they don't play the engine move, but as long as their opponents are blundering, it's all good. Okay? And Magnus goes the longest without blundering. Even like Ding and sometimes Naka, sometimes Dubov, Caruana, they blunder more. You know? And so even if they're playing a little better than Magnus, which they do sometimes, if they blunder, that doesn't matter. And the games that Ding won, the first game against Magnus 2 days ago, and the game that he drew in the Armageddon where instead of Magnus resigning, they repeated. I mean, Ding played like great those games. However, the other games, Ding is playing terrible, making lots of bad moves, many more bad moves than Carlsen, many more. So he loses. And if you make a bad move like rook here, and the guy beats you in 2 moves, you don't see that very often at the top level unless it's like Bullet or Blitz or something. Something like that. The less you blunder, the more you don't blunder. All right. And the final game that I have for you guys is Zhu Wenjun, who's also behind me. I got Ifan behind me, and I got Zhu Wenjun behind me in the pictures. Okay. My favorite pairing ever was in the Olympiad when Zhu Wenjun played Nazi Pakidze. All right. Zhu's got the revenge. Now, this is Ori Kobo. He's not a high-rated player against Zhu Wenjun. Now, what's funny is about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Zhu Wenjun tied for first in the Chicago Open. In the penultimate round, she played Matt Larson. Matt Larson was winning. He was like +3, and then she ran over him and he lost. He still got an IM norm. She beat a strong GM in the last round. She tied for first. Go Matt Larson. Matt Larson got 3 IM norms, and now he's an IM, all from consecutive Chicago Opens. I think 17, 18, and 19. But it could have been 16, 17, and 18. But those were his 3 IM norms. So he likes the Chicago Open. 299 centidues. Thank you, JJ Wad 95. Where would I place Bobby Fischer? Probably in a coffin in Reykjavik. Well, it's not in Reykjavik, somewhere in Iceland. Very good, Laszlo Damas. Very good. Yeah. By the way, I have good Chicago Opens too. I don't know why. I didn't get 3 norms there, but I tied for first in the Chicago Open and won like $5,000. That was my biggest prize outside of St. Louis. Yeah, I think it is. I think I never won. Even when I tied for first in the World Open, that was less money because I tied with everybody. Chicago was like a 4 or 5-way tie. I beat Emil Anka in the last round. God damn, what a good pairing. White against Emil Anka. Emil's a nice guy, but you don't beat Emil Anka in the last round and win the Chicago Open. You got to beat, Carlsen, basically. So that was a good pairing. No, World Open wasn't as much as the Chicago Open. Nothing is as much as St. Louis. Everything in St. Louis is more. Yay, Pan gave like 12 cents. When was that? The Chicago Open? Jesus. 13 years ago? I don't know. It's on my Wikipedia page. Somebody put when I won the Chicago Open. I tied for first in all the major tournaments, but that was before you guys were born. I tied for first in two U.S. Opens. One of them, a lot of you weren't born, 1994. And then also in 2007. And then National Open, I tied for first twice in Vegas. Once in Chicago and once in the World Open. I never got clear first because I'm not that good. I can tie for first with 8 other people. Remember, you got to do it like Phil Hellmuth. If you want to win 10, 20, 30, 40 tournaments, you got to play in 5,000 tournaments. Then you win like 40 tournaments. Then he'll say he's the greatest ever. Terrible. Frankly, ridiculous. You were born, what? You were born in 1952, followed by I was born in 2002. God damn. Tied with Sarawan? I didn't tie with Sarawan in any of those tournaments. He didn't play any of them. No, Sarawan didn't play any of the tournaments I tied for first. Yeah. You were 3. You were 3? What? All right, go Chess TV. It's time for another train because I'm going to show you the last game soon. So we have to kill some time. I can do the can. Da, 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 da. Do you guys know the Taxi episode, if you've heard of Taxi, where Jim is, Christopher Lloyd, has this dream that's very specific, has very weird stuff in the dream. At the end of the dream, they're all killed. And Danny DeVito, he believes in Jim's dreams. He's like, we got to avoid all that. And at the very end of the episode, Judd Hirsch is like, I don't believe in any of that. And he makes the stuff happen to show he doesn't believe in it. And he's doing the can because that's part of the dream. He has a catcher's mask on. And then there's a knock at the door. And now Judd Hirsch is like, uh-oh. And then it turns out it's a Girl Scout. But in Jim's dream, it was death. And everything happened. And Danny DeVito's really upset. But it turns out it's a Girl Scout and they steal her cookies. 200 cent to dues, Grunge War. 1 cent to do. Wow. 100 cent to dues, fly half. 2014. How did we get a train? I don't understand this train. 200 and 100. We need a third one. Where's the third one? I don't see how did we get a train? Oh, JJ Watt gave $2.99 like an hour ago. That must be part of the train. Then Grunge War gave 200. Then Fly Half gave 100. All right, I guess. We're on Chess TV. Over the last 2 or 3 months, if you're on Chess TV, the viewers show up on Twitch and you get 1 million viewers. So when I'm on Chess TV, I have 1 million viewers. And I'm on Chess TV Tuesday and Saturday night. When I'm not on Chess TV, I'll have like 400 viewers. When I'm on Chess TV, then you can see. And that's with everybody. Chess TV is killing it. You guys are all the best, whoever you are. All right. Sand V gifted 3 subs. If you want to get emotes from the train, you have to donate 100 centidues or more or 1 sub. Then you get all the emotes. If you donate 99 centidues, they don't give you the emotes. I don't make the rules. I just break them. What is Chess TV? I don't know. Why asking me tough questions? KJ bets 200 centidues. So I'm playing on chess.com. Chess.com has something called Chess TV. And then people watch Chess TV because it tells you to. And then I'm on Chess TV. Don't ask me tough questions. I don't know. I'm the merchant of centidues. That's right. You can call me Shylock. Wait, is that Taming of the Shrew? Damn it. Is Shylock in Taming of the Shrew the Merchant of Venice? I actually don't know. I'm really old, so I read that stuff before you were all born, and then I forgot it before you were born too. Which one is it? Merchant of Venice? All right. So it was apt what I said? Apt. See, this isn't a joke, and it sounds like a joke, but it is not a joke. There's a guy in Michigan named David Moody. You've never heard of him. And he invents names for openings. This isn't a joke. And he's like 1900. He doesn't play chess anymore. And he calls this the Hamlet Gambit. He actually plays it. And it's to be E3 or not to be E3. That is the question. That's the Hamlet Gambit. And he gives openings names that he made up all the time. Yeah, true story. That's right. You got to sing the Moody Blues when you lose to him. That's right. Yeah, he was a great editor of the Michigan Chess Magazine. That's not a joke. Yeah. I learned it in a dream, and then I forgot about it in another dream. That's right. No, it's not a joke. That was true. Yeah. David Moody. Now, David, if you thought I drank a lot of Perrier, 1 second. I do. David Moody drank Dr. Pepper, and he brought a lot of Dr. Pepper to the tournament. And he's the only chess player I know who wanted the clock on the side that he wasn't handed. He was right-handed. Wanted the clock on his left. He'd move with his left hand, write the move down on his score sheet, and hit the clock. It was all one motion. And then he would drink Dr. Pepper to the right of them, to the left of them. He drank a lot of Dr. Pepper. He was bringing 8 packs, 12 packs to the tournaments and drinking them, then bringing the next day. And in a similar vein, my dad used to be a weightlifter, and he worked out in the same gym as Norb Szymanski, who was the best non-Eastern European weightlifter for like 30 years in like the 50s and 60s. And he said Norb Szymanski just drank Coke. He drank 1,000 Cokes a day while he was doing weightlifting. That was his workout routine. Drank more Coke than anybody. So there you go. All right, it's the hype train. Let's go hype train. Do it. What are 3 GM norms? A norm is another word for a performance. So you played an international tournament. You do really well. That's a GM norm. If you get 3 of them, you get the title. You know, sort of. There's more to it than that, but that's basically yeah. How do I break 1,000? Play better. Yeah. Sponsored by Dr. Pepper. That's correct. Norm MacDonald. Yeah. That's right. Zero talent. Choke a koala. No. All right, let's go train. If you've never been here before, if you now donate a sub, or you donate 100 centidues, the train keeps going, then you guys get emotes. A lot of emotes. The more emotes you get, your friends will think you're really cool. Because they don't think you're cool now. They're not really your friends either, right? Troy Haskin gifted 5 subs. Thanks, Troy. And then, what did Just the Box in a Cage do? That's my game with Danny Wrench from the 2009 Spice Cup. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. Have you talked about Elizabeth Pates yet? I don't know anything about it. I know that, actually, I don't know this, but it seems like Lee Chess kicked her off of Lee Chess and for unfair play. I think that's what happened. I don't know if that happened. I think that's what happened. And also, she said stuff that people didn't like, and then she said her account was hacked. I don't know if any of the stuff I said was true. That's just what I heard. I'm pretty sure most of that is true. So, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Nothing. I got nothing. Yeah. Let's see. Claims her account was hacked. Yeah. That's right. That draw did not clinch the title for Wrench. That was the penultimate round. He needed to draw in the last round against Ray Robson, and Ray Robson needed to win to get the GM title. So they played like and then they played a really long game, very sharp, and then ended in a draw. So Wrench got the IM title, and Robson had to wait till the next tournament. Danny actually declined to draw against because he wanted to win and get the title because he wasn't super confident against Ray Robson for obvious reasons. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Elizabeth's probably innocent because this is the best female chess player stream, so go Pates. Yay. I knew Elizabeth Pates before you guys were born. By the way, for half of you, that's true. Midgard Serpent subscribed. Hooray. Just a box in a cage. What's he doing? Bishop B7, Rook D1, B5. That's my game? Yeah, hope I won. Hold on a second. It's scrolling too much. Knight E4, B5. Bishop D2. Let's see. Bishop C4. I've seen that before, but I can't tell you what it is. It's too long ago. That game's too long ago. I don't know. That game looks like it's 27, 28 years old. Yeah. 100 centidues. Yay. Putting us to level 4. 400 centidues from Xenoid. I can't even tell you what color I was that game. Pates is the strongest female German chess player. I agree. I don't know if I'm right, but I agree. Yeah. Wouldn't Jizza beat the Rizza? I've been told that, but I don't think so. Now, I'm going to be on a podcast over the next 10 days. I don't know when, but I'll let you know when I know. Of the Hip Hop Chess Federation. So I'll ask the guy. Because I've played the Rizza. I've never played the Jizza. Yeah, and we played an old dirty Chinese restaurant. I couldn't believe it. I don't know. I'll ask the guy and see if he knows. 201 centidues. But I'll be on the podcast and I'll let you guys know. I'll Twitter it and Discord it and I'll tell you guys here. We'll put a link to it. Yeah. Exactly. U.S. Open 1992? I told you it was 28 years ago. I mean, I tied for second in that tournament, but I don't remember that game at all. I can tell you my strong opponents, but I don't remember playing. I don't even know who that guy is. So, yeah. You're here. Yay. Time to donate to the hype train. We have 2,600 people watching. Confusing Grandmaster Gallery. Grandmaster Gallery's like, wait a minute. Why are there 2,775 people here? Yeah. Are you confused, Grandmaster Gallery? The TV show's in the works, but nothing's happening yet. When something happens, I'll let you guys know. Why so many people? Well, you're calling them people. Yeah. When you're on Chess TV, you get a lot of people. Yeah. I can't believe Karen's watching my stream since Video Game Pianist is streaming. I'm shocked. I've never played Ivanchuk. I'm sorry. All right, let's go hype train. If I show you even one move of this game, the hype train's dead. You guys you're not like, oh, the game, oh, you can't. You guys can't do it. Just make the hype train end so we can look at the game. Yeah. Karen's like, wait a minute. I forgot that Video Game Pianist is streaming. Go train, go. Yeah. I've never played chess with him. I have not. Yay, 1 centidue. Yay, Grandmaster Gallery. Now, the answer to you ever played Reshevsky is yes and no. In the mid 80s, I'm going to say 83, but I'm guessing. Reshevsky gave a simul at the Renaissance Center in Detroit, and he was playing a friend of mine who was like 2,000, and I was like telling the guy most of the moves. We were cheating. I mean, so I didn't play, and the guy did. I probably helped him on 15 moves. I helped him, and he probably made about 30 of his own moves, and he won. But, I mean, I didn't play him, so no. But since Reshevsky was a cheater, it's good that we sort of cheated against him. Yeah. Yay, Penguin, red tinfoil. Yeah. I don't think Reshevsky knew that I was helping the guy or he cared. Yeah. Yeah. How did he cheat Reshevsky? Reshevsky would offer a draw, and then when you would accept, if it was enough time, he would deny that he offered a draw. So he gained a lot of time on the clock doing that. He did that often. I have a funny Reshevsky story. Some guy in England who was maybe like Angus Dunnington, somebody like that. He was playing in Lugano in Switzerland in the 80s, maybe like 87. And he played Reshevsky in the last round. Needed a win to get like an IM norm. And he won. And his friends were like, yay, you won, and you got an IM norm. And then, Reshevsky said, are those guys your friends? And he's like, yeah. And he said, your friends are assholes. That's what Reshevsky said to the guy. And then Reshevsky said, I'm sorry if I'm being curt, but time is a factor. Now clean the fucking car. All right, let's go. Hype. No, the hype train died. No. Well, I can show you the game now. Okay. That was a good hype train except for one thing. It was better than the other one. Now you guys all get emotes. Hooray. Such strong support. 10 subs, 2100 bits, Papa John's, Pulp Fiction reference. Pretty pleased with sugar on top. Clean the fucking car. Okay. You must be Jules. All right. So this is Juwenjun. And we have a Nimzo Indian. Now, white played a move, and I got to get a lot of the emotes over here. Never play F3. It's all the same-ish to him. F3. D5. This is actually Matt Larson's game with Juwenjun also. I don't know when it deviated, but this game is a long time ago. When was this game played? Let's see. 2017. I think Juwenjun beat Matt Larson in 2017 in this opening. So maybe I'm wrong. Okay, takes. This is all theory. Now, black has more than one move here. Juwenjun played the most aggressive move. Now, the point is, white wants to open the position because white has the bishops. What else? So white's going to try to get those bishops and so forth. Okay, and Juwenjun played F5, which makes E4, not so good. Knight H3, Queen A5. Obviously, a very sharp position. And now, white made a mistake. Played Bishop D2. That's too passive. Okay, and then C4. And black has at least equalized here, at least. You don't want to go up the dark squares. So you got bishop on F1. That makes more sense because that bishop sucks. All right. So white has a bad pawn structure. And as a result of that pawn structure that we see from this position here, where you're like, why is white's pawn structure so bad? Well, it is bad, but white has the two bishops, and white has an extra pawn at the moment. So if white keeps the extra pawn, that's good. If white keeps the two bishops, that's good. And the engine says it's about equal. And unfortunately, white did no such thing. White's not a pawn up. White doesn't have the two bishops. So black is probably a little better here. And this position, in my opinion, is very difficult to play for white. Much easier, I think, to play for black. But still, it's about equal. Okay, castles. And the engine wants to play knight d3, kicking the queen out. He played rook b1, activating his rook. Rook d8, then knight d3. c5 seems like a weird move to me. The engine still says it's equal. All right. And then e5. Okay. And queen e3 is okay. f4 is a good move. Queen e4 is a good move. And queen f7 with the idea of bishop f5. Okay. Now, so far, I would say black has played slightly better than white, Not much better. White's played okay. And the engine says it's about equal. Probably prefers black a little bit. Now white made a terrible, terrible, terrible blunder. This is the kind of terrible blunder that grandmasters very rarely make. It's a blunder in calculation. Okay? So when you calculate a variation in your head that goes take, 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 you can't be wrong. If you play some strategical error and the computer says you're slightly worse, that doesn't matter very much. If you make a tactical error and the computer says you're down a rook, that matters a lot. Now with these two players, Ju Engine is just much better at tactics. Strategically and opening wise, she hasn't shown that she's much better, but now she does. Okay, and when she played Queen F7, I'm sure she realized the e-pawn was poisoned. And her opponent not only did not realize that, he took it. Okay, and then the game is just over. So what he should do, the engine says moving the rook somewhere is good, and I've learned this myself. This is a hard lesson I've learned. I'm an old man. I've learned this lesson more than once. All the pieces I'm clicking on are on white squares. That's a white squared bishop. So you got to watch that. So the engine says move the rook to a dark square. It doesn't care which one, and it says they're all about equal. Just move the rook to a dark square. Okay? And with the queen and the rook here, and bishop f5 coming, white's move is just an incredible blunder. Okay? It's not his fault. He's Samoan. What do you want him to do? He's big boned. Okay, so here he blunders with knight takes e5. Terrible. And now he's losing, and his next move is also a blunder. I understand why he blundered the next move. That I understand. Okay, now you can vote in the chat. According to the engine, which move should white play? Now white's already in trouble, but you want to be in the least amount of trouble of your trouble. Which is better for white? Taking with a queen or taking with a bishop? And they're both bad, but one is less bad. If you were white, what do you have to play here? And hopefully you go back here, and then you don't play that. That's what you got to do. Now here, you have to minimize your losses. Which move is correct? All right, and the whole chat is wrong. Everybody in the chat gave the same answer, and it's wrong. The guy did play queen takes. That's a blunder. Okay, the correct way of playing is bishop takes, walking into this skewer, then queen takes. You can't trade queens because then the rook is good. Although, why can't I win your rook? Is this pawn really good? Is rook takes pawn good? Wait, why can't I do that? I want to do that. Oh, I am supposed to do that. Okay, I was wondering. It's funny, these moves are equally good. They're both like 1.8 for black. Queen takes, rook takes check, rook takes, rook g7, rook c7. That's only, well, white does have a lot of pawns. That's actually a pretty funny variation. This one, where black's up a rook. Because this pawn's hanging, this pawn's weak, this pawn's strong. Black's winning, but it's not easy. It's funny, if you go here, which the engine does do, and you can't take this because of this fork. All right. Anyway, that's what white should do. Bishop takes, queen here. Probably black's winning. And when white took the pawn on e5, obviously he was thinking like you guys. He was like, take with the queen, I want a pawn. All right. Now, let me ask you a hypothetical question. It's hypothetical. If it was white's turn to move, and white wants to move his queen, Where do you go? It's a hypothetical question. White to move, where would you move that queen? And I tell all of my students when I was teaching, when you move your pieces forward, sometimes they get attacked and you got to move them back. You got to back it up. Resign is incorrect. A2 is not, doesn't answer the question. Yeah. Good night, KJ Betts. G5, okay. Right, G5 is correct. There is no other square, just G5. If you go to E4, I go here. If you go anywhere else, I take your queen. Right, and as it's been pointed out in the chat by a couple of people, rook D5, you ain't going to G5. When your opponent attacks your queen, and your queen is deep in their territory, you got to be like, all right, I saw that, and here's what I'm going to do. And in the game, I think the guy went, oh, that's what I think happened. And Zhu Wenjun, she saw if this happened, rook D5 would win, and her opponent did not. There's three kinds of moves you have to look at, and this one's the most difficult. Checks, captures, and, you guys should all say it now. Say it. Louder. Right. Threats. And when you look at threats, you look at the biggest threats, like your queen. And the queen is very close to black's pieces. I could play rook E8, I can play rook D5, and you have to be ready for both. Rook E8 is ridiculous. It gives me D6, G5, and D4. I got 3 safe squares. I probably have more safe squares, I just can't see them. Okay, maybe I don't. But after here, you have no safe squares. If you go to E4, bishop F5, Papa John's. Yeah. What happens if I play Queen B4? He resigned here, by the way. I have a question about this move. So it's just so lost. The engine's like ridiculous. The engine says black is +6 here because these are so ridiculous. I can't play King F2 and run my king out. Queen E7. All right, here, I don't know. Oh, the bishop's hanging. Oops. Oh, so this wins the bishop, this wins the bishop, and this wins the king. All right, I resign. I know when I'm beat. Yeah, so after rook D5, he resigned. Well, obviously, he didn't see rook D5. If he did, he wouldn't have played knight takes E5. And that game was decided by one move also. It was decided by this tactic, which just loses immediately. You can't do that. And lower-rated players do that all the time, and higher-rated players avoid making these moves that lose in one move. Of course, in Blitz and Bullet, they play them sometimes because they miss the winning move, and then we laugh. And we're like, yay, that guy blundered too. But in slow chess, they don't do that. So this game was also decided by one move, this blunder, and now he has to realize that he's losing his queen and play here, which is also very bad. And now he realized it when it was time to resign. Terrible. Papa John's. Yeah. Queen F6 was good. What should you do instead of knight takes? You should move your rook somewhere. That way there's no trick. Right. And then after like rook E8, bishop F5, I'd probably rather have black. 2 isolated pawns, bad rook, bad king. The engine says it's equal, but I'd rather have black. But instead here and just losing. And the point is, the higher rated player wants to get very difficult positions to play where lots of different moves are bad. And then the higher rated player has to avoid making those moves and prove that they're the better player. They don't want to have boring, the game ends in a draw, and Geary scratches his head confused. They want, my opponent's confused, it's a complicated position, I'm higher rated, I win with black. And that's what happened. Okay? And so, one of the reasons people don't like slow chess with the super GMs is they don't mind drawing. And if you watch a lot of chess where it's an open tournament and there's 3 or 4 guys who are like, I got to win these games. Title Tuesday is a good example. It's not called Title Tuesday, but we'll call it that. Hikaru doesn't want to have 5 draws. Now, if Hikaru plays in Tata Steel, assuming it exists, and he has 6 wins and 5 draws, he's very happy. Very happy. Very happy. But if he plays in Title Tuesday and he has 5 wins and 5 draws, he's not happy. So it's nice to have these big open tournaments like Gibraltar, Isle of Man, Qatar 1 year, World Open, Title Tuesday, those kind of events where there's tons of super GMs. Then there's people like me. Then there's people worse than me. So now you can't have guys like Caruana and Hikaru and Andrew Tang and Naroditsky going, oh, I'll draw all my games. If it's the U.S. Championship and Naroditsky draws all of his games, probably gains rating points. He's not like upset. He'd rather win the tournament. But if Naroditsky drew Nakamura and So and Shankland and Naka and Jeffrey Zhang, he's not going to cry. But if Naroditsky plays in some weaker events and he draws 23, 24, 2500s, then he's going to break all his computer equipment. So when you see these kind of mismatches where one player is obviously better than another, they like to get these weird positions where they assume their opponent can't handle the truth. If their opponent can't handle the truth, why is their opponent lower rated than them? So they don't want to draw, so they make sure the game probably isn't a draw. Occasionally, that doesn't work out, and Shabalov resigns on move 20. But when it does work out, you're like, man, Zhu Wenjun is good. Right. So you want to have those kinds of tournaments where people just can't afford to draw, so we see some interesting chess. If you have these super GM tournaments where all the players are over 2750, they don't really mind drawing so much. However, there are people, if you can call them people, Fischer, Kasparov, Morphy, etc., they don't want no draws. No draws. So even if they're playing the best players in the world, they want to win every game. So that's interesting. But some of the top players in the world, they want 3 wins, 6 draws. Where's my first place? I can't blame them. I like getting first place too. So that's why if you want to see lots of decisive results, lots of interesting games, there's 2 things you can do. Make sure one player is better than the other player, or make sure the time control is really fast. And if you have the 2 best players in the world and the slowest time control, then you get what happened in the last World Championship match, which was 12 draws. The truth hurts. If the players don't want to draw, if they're incentivized not to draw, they will not. Carlsen and Caruana can play as crazy as they want to. They just don't want to. Okay? But if Carlsen's playing me, then he has to win. So then, he does what it takes to win. He doesn't really mind drawing. Truth hurts. Karpov won a lot of tournaments by drawing. Yeah, that's right. Karpov played in round robins in the 70s, and he won half his games and drew half his games, and they gave him the prizes. But if Karpov played in his prime in some American Open tournaments, you can't be doing that. You got to win your games. You play in the World Open and get 4 wins and 5 draws, you ain't winning nothing. Sounds good, but it's no good. You got to win, win, win. Okay, all they do is win, win, win. Yeah, exactly. Fischer was the sanest. Yeah. All right, let's see what the chat is saying before I rate somebody. Fischer is a dead person. Chess Rage, Spencer, Karen, Bent Larson. Right. Bent Larson was really good at beating players between 2,200 and 2,550. He was really good at it. No draws. And then when Larson played, people his own rating, then Spassky beat him with black in 17 moves, and Fischer beat him 6-0, and so forth. And this is a funny story. When Larson was 1,000 years old, and he hadn't played chess in years, he played in a round robin in South America where he lived, because Larson lived in South America. Like he always did. And he was like, I'll play. And the players were like 24, 25, 2,600 FIDE. And Larson lost all of his games. When Larson was like 73 or whatever. Because he played like Larson. He didn't say, oh, I'll play solid, old man. He said, rawr, Larson, crazy. And then he lost all his games. That's the problem with Shirov, Morozevich, Jobava, those kinds of players. When they get older, they got to chill out, but they don't. So their ratings go down. Shirov's like, I'm Shirov. And they're like, your rating's no good. Morozevich is like, I'm going to play like I used to. Then his rating's no good. So that's what happens. And Anand, who used to play wild and crazy, he chilled out and he plays solid, insane, and book, and his rating is still high. But if he played like the old Anand, which is the young Anand, and he sacked everything and played crazy tactics, no good. He doesn't do that. He just plays calm, solid, old man like me. Except, I can't play like that. Etc. Mainly, etc. All right, thanks for watching the stream. Also, etc. Mainly, etc. It's almost 11 o'clock. We got 2,600 viewers. You're the best viewers. If only somebody could donate, I could stream for another half an hour. No. But there's only 2,600 of you, so you won't do it. Boo, boo. All right. So I was trying to find a game before the stream of Humpy Kineru where she won in less than 25 moves, but I couldn't. She's always squeezing everybody, so I don't know. I'm sure she's done it. I don't know. What can I tell you? Frankly, terrible. Colmonosaurus gave 5 subs. You're the best. There's only one person better than Colmonosaurus. Do you know who it is? The answer is Rex. Although maybe it is Rex. I don't know. Go Rex. You can do it. Hey, Karen got the right answer. That was good. 2,600 viewers, Papa John's. I want to see how many subs I have because I don't have a lot of subs. Boo. 1851. That's better than when I started. So that's, can't argue with that. Argue with it a little bit. Brad Leo 1658 subscribed. Trying to learn 100 centidues. We had a train about half an hour ago. So I don't think we're going to have another one. But we might. We just might. Yeah. All right, so what I'll do now, because I'll stream a little while longer, is I'll find a game I played a woman. Not sure if I won or lost. I'll have to think about it. All right, let's see. What's my best loss to a woman? What's my best win? My best win is against Irene Sukandar. So we'll see if I can find that. That's easily my best win. That game was a masterpiece. There it is. All right. I found it in 1 second. Wait, is that the right game? No, that's the wrong game. I beat her twice. The second game I beat her was less impressive. The first game I beat her, that was the game. All right, let me see if I can find the one I like. 2016, probably. There it is. This is one of my favorite games. Okay. And I actually beat her another game that was a little more suspicious. Still was okay, but this is, yeah. I like this game a lot. Okay. Now, this is a round robin in St. Louis in 2016. When I play round robins against other strong players, I do a lot of prep for each game. I prepare the opening, I look at my opponent's games, etc. And in this game, I played a line I never played before that Yasser used to play in the 80s and 90s. In this position, I've never played Bishop G5, but I prepared it for this game. Okay. And after H6, Bishop H4, Black's almost winning by force. It's not, but almost. And she played B6. You can try to win with Knight E4 and G5, but you can't. Okay. Knight F3, A3. And I have the 2 bishops, what else? You want to take with the knight because you want to play E4 at some point. Okay, so I played F3, don't tell anybody. And then I played E4. So I have the 2 bishops, And I have this monster center, so I'm better. E5, D5. Now I have more space. B4, A5, C5. Yay! Here comes bishop B5 check. Yeah, this is just a terrible position for black. Very bad. Knight G6, bishop B5, bishop F2. I mean, I got everything here. 2 bishops, more space, Papa John's. I'm good at recapturing. Yeah, then I castled. Her opening the position didn't help her. Always play bishop F1. It's the engine move too. When this game ended, I was behind the St. Louis Chess Club, and Yasser was there smoking a cigarette. And I was like, Yasser, I just played like you, and it was great. And I told him the game, and he was like, yeah, that was great. I mean, we didn't have a chessboard, but he enjoyed it. Maybe he was talking about his cigarette. I don't know. And then the game ended in stalemate, so the arbiter said it was a draw. Then I appealed the ruling, and this was really fortunate on my part. The appeals committee only had one person on it, Nigel Short, so the result was reversed and I won. Yes. Now, I'd like to point out material is equal, because material is equal. And the engine says I'm plus 5.1. God damn. This is old man chess at its finest. Bishop B6, threatening the pawn. King D8, bishop A5. Now, if it was my move, which it's not, I could play knight takes D6, knight takes B6, D6, bishop takes C7 check. So she played rook B1, pinning my bishop. Ish don't think so. Knight F4. I pinned her bishop. Rook C1, G3, check, and then I retreated the bishop. And the reason I played this move is it traps her rook. See how my rook can go here? So her rook can't move. I'm going to take her knight. If her knight moves away, bishop D3 wins her rook. So I'm up 7.5. I didn't win any material. I just did this, not this, and then I won. Yeah, also, if the knight moves, bishop here is pretty good. Separate issue. Yeah. So that was like one of my most crushing victories, strategically speaking, from 2016. And it was like, she didn't know how to play against the opening because I'd never played that opening. If she did any prep against me, she didn't prep that. I don't play that. I just looked at a lot of Yasser's games. I looked at some stuff with the engine, and then I got the 2 bishops, extra space, and that was before Papa John's. Emos, I don't know. SAUCM 11 subscribe. Good. Yeah. Knight takes D6 work. Again, you guys are doing it again. You guys are like, why didn't you play this move? I show you a game somebody wins. When the game ends, you're trying to improve on their play. Try to improve on the guy who lost, not on the guy who won. My moves were impeccable. My moves were the finest moves in all of Christendom, and I'm an atheist. So, Humpy Canero won this game in 20 moves. If it was against a woman, I'm not showing it. It has to be a man. If it's a woman, I can't show it. Let's see. A3, B4, Rook CD1, Papa John's. That's a nice game. That finish, McDonald, reminds me of the game Kaidanov beat Anand in 1987 in the Soviet Union. You guys know that game? That ending looks pretty similar. 100 Centuries, Godzilla 69. Yeah. I am Gruntle, that's correct. Yeah. Go Bend. All right, who should I raid? Karen, you have to text me and message me and tell me who to raid. My worst loss to a woman? Man, I have so many bad losses. Let me think about it. I'll find the game. I lost to Sophia Polgar, and I was +4. I lost to Irina Krush, and I was +4. I lost to Judit Polgar, and I was like... I've lost twice to Judit Polgar, but they were just like long games. I haven't lost a lot of FIDE or USCF rated games to women in the last 20 years. I've lost maybe like 6, but they weren't, exciting. I always lose to Joe. That is correct. Yeah. Game that I lost to Judith, where I was black and Rui Lopez, my king ran down the board, so that was interesting from that perspective. Let's see, was that in 1990? I think so. Let me see if I have the game. I don't know if I have the game. Let's see. Reset. That one. Yeah, it was 1990. I do have it. That's correct. All right. I mean, it's fun at the end. And I did lose quickly, so that's good. All right. Let's see. The World versus Kostyanyuk. Sophia could be good. Or Crush. Blitz and Bullets? They were all Blitz. We just played 3-2. We didn't play any other time control. Okay, that was on the internet. That's slow chess. All right, so I'm black. And she played Queen D3, which I think I faced before. She took. Taking with the knight's not a good move because I have knight e5. So already black's better. Yeah, this isn't good for white. Knight g6. Yeah, she's already worse here. Rook e8's a good move. d5's a good move. Yeah. All right, so I've outplayed her the whole game so far. Takes. Now it says it's equal, even though it said I should do that. It says I should do this, then it says it's equal. Oh, it wants me to take with the knight and then play bishop f5. Wow, I didn't see that. It's 30 years ago and I still didn't see it. So I should play knight takes. Oh, you can't see my game? Yeah, you can't see my game. And then bishop here. I didn't see that. And black's better. Darn. All right, so I played pawn takes. Now it's, I don't know, I'm still slightly better, I guess. Equal. Taking here is okay, actually. Bishop e6 is okay. Yeah, I'm still fine. This should be a draw. Bishop f7's fine. Yeah. And this is where I made a very, 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 very bad move. So basically any move is equal here. Like any move. Rook a d8, rook takes rook, any move. a5. It's just equal position. And I blundered here. Yeah, actually I played really well this game. I was better, I missed it, and now I'm equal. Well, the engine says my move is good now. So maybe I didn't blunder here. It said it was a blunder, now it says it's good. I took that, tricking Judith tactically. I was younger 30 years ago. Oh, the engine says that's a good move. All right. b3. You see the back rank tactics. You know, rook takes rook mate, and she can't take my bishop ever because of mate. Right, and then I play queen b4, threatening everything. She played bishop e5. Yeah, it says I'm playing great. Queen b2. And this is where I blundered. Oh yeah, my move's pretty stupid. I agree. So I'm better if I play c5. I'm better if I play rook a d8. I'm better if I play queen b5. And I played a5. And now I'm close to losing. I guess. It said I was losing. Now it says I'm fine. All right, she played bishop c3. I played queen b5. All right, so I'm still playing okay. We traded. She took on a5. Queen c4. I didn't realize how well I played this game. I thought I got crushed after the opening, but this is still equal. Rook here. And now it says I blundered. That doesn't seem like a blunder. It says bishop a4 is equal. I played bishop d1. She played h3 to avoid the mates. Yeah, it really hates bishop d1. It says bishop here is good. It says that should be a draw. I'm trying to figure out why it's a draw after h3, rook e7, what the difference is. Aha, my bishop's hanging on d1. That's the difference. So after bishop a4, the engine actually says I'm better. Yeah, after bishop d1, my bishop's hanging. So after she got luffed, then she played rook check and bishop takes g7. And if I play king h7, she plays queen b1 check. I can't play g6 because of mate. And if I block with the queen, the bishop's not attacked. So this is completely winning. If I play rook e4, then rook e8 wins. So bishop d1 is a blunder. So I actually played okay this game. Then I played bishop d1 losing. After bishop here, the engine prefers black. And then I can just play the same way. I can play rook e7. Because my bishop's on a4, she can't play rook a8 check. Yeah, now I'm just getting crushed. So bishop d1 was a blunder. Otherwise, I played okay. I didn't realize bishop d1 was a blunder like the rest of my life. But now we have engines. Yeah. So I actually played pretty well that game. And then I played bishop d1. Yeah, bishop's not too safe on d1. I probably wanted to come here and defend. Bishop here looks sort of stupid. But it does stop her rook from moving up. So after bishop here, I would have been okay. And then I'm just dead after this. It was pretty cool. Always play bishop f8. Then I resigned because mate's no good. So at the end of the game, it looks like I got destroyed. Like this looks horrible for black. But like 5 moves ago, I was better. Yeah, bishop d1 is just a terrible move. I got to play bishop a4. If I ever play Judit again and we get this exact position, I'll play my home prep. Bishop a4, left, rook e7, Papa John's. And the engine says this is a draw now. But it prefers black. But opposite bishops. Bishop is stupid. My king is slightly worse than hers. So draw. Yeah, bishop d1 was dumb. And Judit beat me a nice game in Ora in Amsterdam. That was one of my best tournaments ever. But I lost to Judit in round 3 or so. And I was black in a Caro-Kann-Panov attack. And I just got squeezed the whole game until I lost. But this game was more interesting because at the end of the game, my king walked up the board. So that's pretty cool. And I resigned here. Why did I resign? I could have got mated and won. What's wrong with me? Always play bishop f8. Man, that's some good attacking chess there. Judit was probably like 15 when this game was played. And I guess I was 20. Yeah. Yeah, I should have let her mate me. That's correct. I agree. Shallow and pedantic. Yeah. Anyway, that wasn't a bad game. It's just sometimes you lose. That was in Dortmund. It was a round robin, and I had 2 wins, 2 losses, and 5 draws. And my 2 losses were to Judit and Sofia Polgar. That game I was better or equal. I played Bishop D1 losing. And Sofia I was just crushing. I was +4 against her. And then I lost. I played like blunder. God, I played so bad. I was so crushing her too. And those are the only 2 games I lost that tournament. Boo. I won a nice game with black and a pan-off against Bernd Stein. I won a rook ending. Yeah. The truth hurts. The crowd has rights. Yeah, I should have let her mate me. You're right. Did Karen opine about who I should raid? Let's see. Let me check my phone. That's right. It's all correct. All right, thanks for watching my stream. Tomorrow's Wednesday, so I stream 9 to 11. 9 to 11. So I'll see you guys in 22 hours, a little less than that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. Thanks for cheering. Thanks for donating. And thanks for fries. And the answer is fries. And I will raid someone. Nobody knows who. Even me. Let's see. Did I spell any of that right? I don't know. Probably not. No, I spelled everything wrong. No, I'm kidding. All right. See you guys tomorrow night. Bye.